Good to have you with us. Welcome to America's Day of the Races on Fox Sports 2. Live look at Aqueduct Racetrack, South Ozone Park, New York. We're 15 minutes away from race 5, and we'll start the late pick 4 on this Sunday afternoon card. We also have live coverage from Hot Springs, Arkansas. Muddy conditions at Oakland. We are listed as good here in New York. Greg Wolf alongside New York Racing handicapper Andy Serling. And we're going to look back on a busy weekend as well on the Triple Crown Trail.
Yeah, no question. The Tampa Bay Derby, a very interesting race, somewhat of an upset in there with the Puma getting it done and running a nice race and doing so. And talk about that and daylight savings. So we got a little bit more light going on here, and it's spring-like weather in the 60s here. And the fog finally lifted.
Yeah, it feels like summer. Yeah, it got really foggy. I thought I was watching a John Carpenter film.
I got here at 10 in the morning. You still couldn't see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
We're going to get into our action straight away here in a minute. We'll send you just out to Hot Springs momentarily. They're 4 minutes away from the 4th. Here's what's ahead. Presented by Claiborne Farm. As mentioned, good condition here on this main track in New York, muddy in Hot Springs. Races 5 through 8 from New York, races 4 through 9, including very excited about to see the return of Stars and Stripes for Bill Mott.
Yeah, I had a lot of high hopes for him, and he kind of disappointed in his last start, but he never ran a fast race. He just ran to a horse at Gulfstream that kind of ran out of his skin.
You can play all the action right there at Naira Bets. That's the offer, that $200 deposit match. New customer bonus when you punch in that promo code MATCH200 for new customers and sign up right there at NairaBets.com. Let's send it out to Hot Springs right now. Check in for the first time with the Mig and Megan Burgess.
Thanks, Greg. And yeah, beautiful day here. What a difference a day makes. We got through the storm and sunshine and just as nice a day as you can have.
Lighter, brighter, in a better mood. Not that we weren't in a great mood yesterday, but it just feels like a little pep in our step. Got the sun shining down on us and a great card ahead of us, Mig.
Yeah, and a real competitive, hard-hitting group here. A smaller field, particularly by Oakland standards, but $30,000 claimers going 6 furlongs. And I feel like you can make a case for just about anybody in here, Megan, but we'll start with the one in the post-break, Gun Flash.
Closer from the rail, who just really hasn't made me want to bet him in his last couple of races up there at 10-1.
The 2-horse Mischievous M coming in off a subpar effort.
32-1 upset 3 back. Another that's better when more mid-range tactical type, but I have my doubts. Did work well out of his last effort.
Yeah, the 3-horse Princetown getting back to dirt off a synthetic, and I feel like some of those races maybe dirtied this horse's form up a bit.
He's 2 for 5 on dirt, and Mike Maker's a decent 17% overall on that synthetic to dirt change.
And you got the 4 Nasty Habit. Peter Miller having a good meet.
He is. I thought this was a real stout, robust son of violence. A 7-year-old who I have interest in.
The 5-horse Lundberg made a real nice impression on the racetrack.
He did. Him and the number 4 were the best 2 lookers of the group, in my opinion.
And then the venerable, the 6 Payne, the 11-year-old, not allowed to race in New York anymore, comes off a really good effort last time. A little disappointed in his coat. Thought he was a little bit on the dull side.
It's, it just, these horses that climb up in age, it kind of happens naturally as we all age. We're not as quick and have that pep in our step, but I'd agree. He's kind of losing that muscle mass behind, perhaps on maybe the regressing in his physical. But I mean, he is such a hard worker. 7 for 19 here at Oakland with earnings over $900,000.
Yes, such a veteran, 56 starts under his belt. The 5-horse Lundberg is ultimately where I'm going to land. He was a horse that I liked. He's got enough early speed. He can be tactical. And this is him with Payne a couple starts back where he got the best of it.
He did. He showed speed against the likes of American Experiment, who scratched out of this race. He was 3 wide. And made kind of an earlier move and looked like, he had more horse there 3 wide and made that narrow win. But, for a horse like Payne, especially as he climbs in age, you have to appreciate him closing like this. Back in December, he really did close on really well that day. I think he's a little bit more up against it today, but Lundberg's interesting, narrowly getting the win. He's been way too tough, but 2 starts back against the likes of Vital Mind. Last time out, he kind of dueled on the front end and then faded. He's certainly getting back amongst his friends, though, here in a very reasonable spot.
Yeah, getting back to that $30,000 level where he was successful. Luis Saez gets the mount. Luis Saez, this is his last day riding full-time at Oakland, heading to Gulfstream Park.
He is for a couple of weeks before he moves, of course, his tack. Everybody does the Kentucky migration there at the start of Keeneland. But we're going to miss Louis. He's just been such a class act here as he has wintered since December. But the number 3 Princetown for Mike Maker, he's one that is kind of a heavier-bodied individual when just looking at him. He's 0 for 2. We still have a muddy, sealed track today. So I'm definitely still looking, although the sun is out and shining and things are drying out. We'll see how he gets over the surface, as it looks like he's taking tepid favoritism at the moment. He's dropping down in class, and he certainly looks like, to me, the win candidate of this group in terms of some of his past races, but at the same time, for some reason, I still have my doubts.
Well, again, if I can block out his last few starts on synthetic against tougher, and just focus on his dirt races, it certainly elevates him in my mind. I definitely get what you're saying. I think it really points out to the track maintenance crew here at Oakland what a job they did, because there's still so much moisture in this racetrack. And they really had a good racetrack yesterday. I mean, it was a sloppy track, but a good, even, safe racetrack.
It was, and I think the key for the number 3 Princetown will be utilizing his speed, but also the cutback in distance. He's been routing and finally getting to that 6 furlongs here. Now on the dirt will be, I think will be to his credit. I went between him and the number 4 at Nasty Habit in here, Mig.
Okay, well, I landed on the 5 Lundberg. I wasn't quite sure where I was going until I saw him on the racetrack, and he just made, to me, the best impression. Payne would have been my top selection. Again, just, would like to have seen a little bit more vibrancy in his coat. But I do think him now being on the outside with the scratch of American Experiment outside of him, I think it helps him, because he hasn't been breaking quite as sharp as he once did, and that speaks to what you're talking about, that muscle mass behind.
Yeah, when you're having an older horse climbing in age, maybe doesn't have that power from behind, that's how you get out of the gate, utilizing that hind end to go forward. We'll see how he runs today, as he's a really fun horse to root for, kind of a fan favorite here at Oakland Park.
Okay, well, we're getting ready to get started here. Matt Dinneman, he's going to have the race, a call of race 4 for you.
Princetown coming forward, outside post, Payne. Working with Payne to come up to the outside. We're ready to go. And we're off. Nasty Habit blasts out of the gate, takes advantage of it, strides in front. Mischievous M right there to the inside, not far away. Princetown running in the third with Lundberg. Payne second to last early. Gun flash at the tail as they head down the back stretch. Mischievous M moving forward, grabs a short lead. Nasty Habit the presser now from the outside right there. Princetown in a good rhythm, third on the inside. Lundberg shown more rain outside of him. Big space of 7 or 8 to Payne, and the trailers still gun flash as they go into the far turn. Mischievous M rounding the turn, narrow lead. Nasty Habit there to the outside, niggled along a bit as they round the far turn. Princetown still in third on the rail. Lundberg, he's all in. Payne has a lot of work to do here. Gun flash still the trailer as they hit the quarter pole. Nasty Habit takes a short edge now. Mischievous M right there to the inside, but Nasty Habit goes better. Nasty Habit off the turn, the leader now. Mischievous M second. Princetown trying to run by Nasty Habit in the final furlong. Nasty Habit still the leader. Mischievous M is second. Princetown third. Payne running on late, but it's Nasty Habit clear coming to the finish. Nasty Habit drawing away for the win. Mischievous M second. Princetown third, and Payne was fourth.
And it was the 4 Nasty Habit sitting a really nice trip, sat right in behind the leaders. Megan tipped out under Ramon Vasquez, who is riding in tremendous form here, and Peter Miller with another winner.
Solid trip, got the blinkers off, and can kind of notice he kind of settled a little bit better than some of his priors, as he's been down in Louisiana at Delta and gets the win. This is now, he is 2 for 2 on a wet surface now.
And really just looked like he was traveling like a winner every step of the way, tipped out into the clear, and got it done. It was Nasty Habit here in race 4. Greg?
Yeah, one impressive Peter Miller. Having a terrific meet. Ramon Vasquez, 7-year-old, wins for the 4th time in his career. As we get back to New York, race 5 post-parade in progress. As the win from Nasty Habit, well clear from that overhead shot. We're going to see Cavalry Hill first to kick things off. Blinkers off, big price from the inside.
He cuts back a little bit from the mile race last time in this field. Even his best races, he has to improve a bit.
State-bred maiden 40, by the way, at 7/8 of a mile, the condition here. 21 Red, the current 8-5 favorite. George Weaver, Flavian Pratt.
A little disappointing as a heavy favorite last time, but in fairness to him, he did chase farther on the outside, and I wonder if 7 furlongs may suit him better.
Mock Schnell. You watch Cars?
No.
You don't have kids, so yeah.
No. Is that what it's from?
One of the Cars, yeah.
Well, this horse potentially could be the controlling speed in here, right? I don't know how this horse is the third choice.
Todd Pletcher-Barn, first-time starter. Gallant one.
One say somebody will explain to me how all these Galenians sold for a lot of money. This is a complete turf pedigree, too.
Eye on the ball, 7:01. Second start for Ray Handel.
If you want a price, this is where you're going to go. He does come out of a live race with a wide trip against a gold rail.
And the biggest price on the board, here's Pilot Knob.
Yeah, I wish the horse was taking a little money first time. He didn't do much running, got a mild excuse, though.
All right, back to the favorite. 21 Red. Dropped into this level last start, was odds on, and was a distant second.
Now, it wasn't a good effort, but I don't think it was quite as bad as the buyer suggests. And, you know, a 6-length loss at 3-5. It's 2 straight races. This horse has been wide against good rails. We have a much more fair track today, and I think he's a logical horse. But, I picked him, but I'm not sure I wouldn't have been better off with the 4. I'd actually liked the 2 Classic Commander, and I went 2, 3, 4 and just didn't swap my picks out because I'm not sure he's that great as a favorite. And I think a horse like Mock Shell may have, especially with blinkers on, a tactical advantage over him.
Do we have the drum roll sound effect?
You know, she brings her own drum roll along with her.
4 minutes to post in the 5th. Let's check in for the first time with Maggie Wolfendale.
Yeah, I am not musically inclined, unfortunately, so I can't do a drum roll, sadly. But we'll take a look here at your current second choice. And while I do think that 21 Red, as Andy pointed out, should appreciate less ground because he is a smaller, shorter coupled type, he just hasn't really gone on, you know? So he left a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth not getting the job done at a very short price last time, but I totally heed the fact that he was against the racetrack on February 15th. Now, Mock Schnell, he'll add the blinkers. He's gotten a really nice warm-up here beneath Christopher Elliott, too. Those short cup cheater blinkers, he's not the most developed type. You know, he has a bit of a slighter frame, but, you know, relative to how he has looked throughout his career, he continues to progress and put on muscle mass. So I'm going to take him with possibly a tactical advantage here. Now, the horse that is dropping down in class here is number 6, Eye on the Ball. To be fair, he did finish in front of 21 Red the last time that they met, albeit finishing 8th and 9th in that maiden special weight field back on February 4th. Then there's also Manhattan Chrome, who would come out of that race and come back and win too. Now, Eye on the Ball, I actually galloped this one's dam, and I just remember her being a horse that had an affinity for a wet track. Now, we are listed here as good, but even when the horses, galloped off, you could still hear the moisture in the racetrack. So I think it'll actually help him a little bit. He's just not particularly well conformed. He has really poor conformations. Luckily, he's a homebred because he definitely wouldn't sell at a sale. Not a bad looking type, though, from a body standpoint. Has some size, has some scope, so a little more ground should be to his liking. Wouldn't be surprised if he wants even more, though, than the 7 furlongs. Now, the mystery horse, the first-time starter for Todd Pletcher in number 5, Gallant One. Now, as Andy mentioned, the Galileans, they seem to sell a lot pretty well, but haven't really turned out any results on the racetrack. They must have been pretty good-looking yearlings, as this guy is pretty good looking, to be fair. Big, burly horse, has a lot of muscle mass to him and substance, and he was pretty sharp back in the paddock. We saw Kendrick Crumrich kind of expend some of that nervous energy, and he does come in here with a fairly fast breeze from the gate to back. So he looks like a horse that could potentially have speed, and he's just giving all the signs that he should be quick away from there. That doesn't always bear out, but the problem is, it is an entirely turf pedigree, and he looks like a turf horse too. So will this surface be to his liking? Then again, it might not be, and he still might be able to handle this field, Greg.
Minute to post. We will find out shortly. Debut coming up for this one.
Yeah, and I think there's a chance this horse gets claimed. A $220,000 yearling purchase, in for 40, and with that pedigree, you almost wonder a little if they kind of like this horse. Why wouldn't they wait, or even put the horse in a maiden special weight race, see if he can run a little in the dirt, and then take a shot in the turf when turf racing starts in a month? It's not November or December. Why not try for the surface you would think that he's more bred for? Listen, he's not going to have to be a killer to win this race. It's not exactly the toughest field ever. But I just think that's kind of a negative. I don't know. Maybe Maggie has different thoughts. I don't know.
We're going to take a look at the 4, who is making career start number 4. Has shown speed already. Blinkers on today. I mentioned this one probably named after those Pixar car movies. In those movies, he's the 4 car.
Really?
So lunch play today, yeah.
Ooh. So you think all the kids are playing?
Probably.
We probably should have lowered the age limit for gambling and encouraged children to be betting on Max Shell today. We could have gotten a huge handle in this race. He'd be 2 to 5
Tie
too.
it in with Disney.
Yeah,
Pixar.
I mean we really needed a child influencer for Max Shell. We really dropped the ball on this one, Greg.
Good chance this one steals it on the front end. What do you think?
I think so. I mean, looking at the pace projector has this horse completely clear. Now, Flavien Prat, though, on the 3, is the kind of rider that knows those things, and so he's going to probably try to get the 3 a lot closer.
Second choice at 2-1 favorite, 21 red with Pratt for George Weaver. Beat at odds on at this condition, as we mentioned, back on February 15th. Will the second time at the level be the charm? Chris Griffin with the call to kick off the pick 4.
Pilot Knob. Pilot Knob steps back, now goes in, all set. And they're off. Pilot Knob tried to show early speed from the outside draw, but there's Mock Schnell, who's quickest. Gallant One is in that early mix, and here comes Pilot Knob, now recovering after breaking a step slow there towards the outside and moving forward his eye on the ball. It's Mock Schnell who puts ahead in front of Gallant One back to second. There is eye on the ball in third. 21 Red is right there in fourth, now making up some ground in behind that leading trio, Calvary Hill and the trailer, Pilot Knob. They work up the backstretch and tightly packed on the front end. Mock Schnell's the leader. 22.73 for the opening quarter mile, and Mock Schnell, Christopher Elliott, will take him into the turn, is up by a half length. Gallant One is all in, trying to cut into the margin now, is rushing up on the outside. Here comes Eye on the ball from third. Right behind them is 21 Red. Just waiting for a seam here is right there in fourth. Traveling awkwardly and losing ground quickly, there was Calvary Hill, just past to the outside by Pilot Knob. It's 45-4 for that half-mile time. Mock Schnell, Gallant One, they still go at it. 21 Red has been off of that early pace, now moves towards the outside, has every shot to run these leaders down. Gallant One is finding more. Gallant One has put away Mock Schnell. 21 Red is trying to commence a rally down the center of the racetrack, but running out of time. Gallant One is now approaching a 16th left to go, is well clear. Gallant One will win this one in dominant fashion. It's all Gallant One. Kendrick Harmouche to victory. 21 Red second, then came Mock Schnell in third, and Eye on the ball finished fourth. 1 minute 24.49 seconds.
Gallant One wins the debut and was taken. We'll try and find out by who, but we'll be moving on from the Todd Pletcher barn.
Obviously found the right field, but he absolutely smashed these horses. I mean, it's right on top of the pace. The pace completely fell apart for Mock Schnell, and he just crushed these horses. Fairly impressive time for a first-time starter running for 40, and he was claimed. You and I are both guessing it's Linda. We took the 3 to 5 shot on that. And I know the 3 and 4 aren't killers, but this horse destroyed them.
Very professional looking, too, doing it.
Yep, I agree.
First asking, Gallant One at 7 furlongs. It beats the field who all had experience except for him. And now it's on to a new barn. 5-3-4-6 finish.
Feels like a steal for $40,000 off of that race if they can get him to continue to run like that, because he obviously has a little bit of ability on the dirt, and maybe they can eventually try him on the turf as well, which he has pedigree for. So this one ran today, and whoever claimed this horse probably did well.
So Gallant One, son of Galilean, Fletcher Rapoli, Kendrick Carmouche. One and done in the barn. Moving on now at 5-2 here in the 5th to start this pick 4. Goes off as the 3rd choice in this 6-horse field. Going to take a timeout. We'll have the prices for you when we come back. We'll look back at the Triple Crown Trail from Saturday. And in the Tampa Bay Derby, a maiden breaks through. The Puma with the victory for connections that already have a Derby. We'll talk about his prospects going forward next. Back with you on our Sunday coverage on Fox Sports 2. You're watching America's Day at the Races. That's where you can play it all. Left-hand side of your screen at Naira Best. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Gallant One kicks off this late pick 4 with a victory, 5-2, and claimed by
Eddie DeLauro claimed this horse. Congrats, Eddie. That's a good claim. This horse can run. And he's got a turf pedigree, so there could be a lot of options for him.
Kendrick Carmouche, Todd Pletcher, Rapoli Stable. They get the win in the debut. And yes, on to a new barn. But yeah, this horse looked impressive. 124-2. The final time, winning at 7 furlongs at first asking. 21 red. Max Schnell complete the trifecta here in the 5th. Race 6. Early pick 5, not going to make you rich.
No, but he's losing. Yes, no.
$34.88.
Yes.
6.5 furlongs in the 6th. Allowance optional claiming field. Interesting race here coming up. Toxic Gray. I thought the one to beat, the public agrees right now.
I agree. You know, we'll see if Garamond cutting back a little in distance. And, you know, reading what Chad Brown was saying, how he didn't really want to come back at mile and 40, but he wonders if 6.5 is too short. I actually think Garamond might be better going a little bit shorter, around the 6.5 to 7. So I don't worry with the distance. I'm just not sure how good he really is. And I think it's Toxic Gray has just been facing much better horses.
Yeah. Big effort for Ranger Battalion last start. Right now, early money. That horse opens at even money right now. It's going to change.
It's going to change, but he's not impossible.
No,
I mean,
not
I'm
at
looking
all.
at the doubles right now, and actually Garamond is favored, but both Toxic Gray and Ranger Battalion are both taking a lot of money, and I don't think I'll be shocked if any of them win. I don't think you disagree.
A lot of talk going into the Derby prep yesterday at Tampa Bay about Further Ado making his 3-year-old debut. About the Pletcher and Chad Brown runners making their second starts off big initial efforts. The Puma winds up stepping up as a maiden, stealing the show.
I'll tell you, they persevered. I thought maybe they were being too aggressive with him. I was wrong. He ran very well to win this race. An 89 buyer, made a wide move in here. I thought he ran a terrific race. He got a clean, unencumbered trip on the outside, unlike last time where I didn't feel there was a lot of trouble, but maybe he was just better off getting out in the clear. I think Further Ado, even though he finished second, a little disappointing in that you kind of wanted to see more in his first start, but it doesn't disqualify him from being a player. And as far as, the third place finisher, I think Chad Brown's going to, sort of step back Canaletto, and probably not head to the Derby with him, look for races, prepping maybe for later big 3-year race. But I thought he ran well being wide. Power Shift was the one in here that was so disappointing, and maybe it was just a bit of a rush getting to the maiden race first time out, coming back 4 weeks later in a race like this because he was a total no-show in there. We'll see. Is it really a legitimate race? Because Emerging Market's going to run in Louisiana in 2 weeks.
As for Further Ado, Brad Cox says obviously they would have liked to win it, but looking potentially at the Bluegrass next for him to give him another shot. As for the Puma, let's get Megan's thoughts on what they saw yesterday.
Yeah, guys, and Megan, I don't think any of the 3 top finishers lost anything in defeat. I thought Canaletto was wide. I thought he might have run the best race. He was caught in between horses. He didn't look particularly happy. And he did get bumped, and it kind of begs the question, whether you thought there could be a change or not, why there wasn't a steward's inquiry into the stretch run.
I thought the exact same thing looking back at the head-on of that finish where it just seemed as if there was a lot going on, but yet no steward's inquiry, as you mentioned. I totally with you on the same page, but the Puma gets it done. The maiden, as mentioned, with an 89 buyer speed figure. It was demoted from the initial buyer speed figure that was released, but they got some rain that day, so it's kind of more tricky as far as creating the buyers, as far as that's concerned, but he ran very well. When you look at him on paper, he was not far off of any of these horses. As Andy mentioned, it was an aggressive placement, but at the same time, he had been running races to be competitive. It's not like he was a major shock in my eyes, but Canaletto, you think you're right, was wide, not the best trip. He was really free moving on the front end when he got to the lead in his maiden win.
Well, and now he was kind of caught in between Further Ado and the winner Puma, and he did take some body contact. And then, to me, he was kind of looking at the outside horse. I think, it being his second start, the inexperience caught up with him a little bit there, being in a little bit of a precarious position. But again, the first 3 finishers, to me, lost nothing in defeat, and they all can take a forward move.
Further Ado, I'm interested to see take another step forward. He ran well off of the bench for Brad Cox, and he'd mentioned he's not the flashiest, most imposing, substantive type horse, but he's going to have to face the likes of Paladin heading to the Bluegrass there in Kentucky.
Well, another round of Derby preps in the books, guys, and the most important one still to come, and we'll see who continues to progress and take those forward steps towards the Kentucky Derby.
And I think the thing with Further Ado that should be noted is, and this is what Brad Cox is probably banking on, he ran that gigantic race at Keeneland when he broke his maiden. So Brad's thinking, I want to get him back to a track where he ran an otherworldly effort. Whether or not it'll matter remains to be seen.
Points leaderboard, here's how it's changed. Paladin's still at the top of the Puma, moving into the 2-slot. Commandment, who we've seen recently, Silent Tactic, Class President, Patente, we'll talk about later in the program, all moving up the list as well.
Yeah, an expensive horse that ran well yesterday in California. Right now, I don't think California is showing to have the kind of strength they've had in past years. And, of course, a lot of that normally depends on how strong Bob Baffert's barn is.
When we look at Commandment, though, how much he improved with relatively few starts. Patente, that was just his second start. We'll talk more about him later.
Yeah, he seems like a horse Patente. He's going to be probably the one if somebody comes from California.
We're going to take a timeout. Chad Brown having quite a bit of depth on this Triple Crown trail, and he's got a major contender in the 6th race coming up. Garamond taking plenty of support. Strong start to 2026. Strong career to this point for the 5-time Eclipse Award winner.
$6,600,000. $1,600,000 bid today. $1,600,000 bid now. Bid now. $650,000. $1,650,000. $1,650,000. Anybody else want $650,000 bid today? $1,650,000. $1,600,000. Thank you.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
And here's Tama in the final stages. The Santa Anita Derby goes to Tama. It's Tama, absolutely terrific, winning Malibu by 4 widening lengths.
Weekends are for winners at Naira Bets. Opt into the Late Pick 5 hit and split bonuses to claim your share of $5,000 every Friday through Sunday. $5,000 hit and splits every weekend when you bet with Naira Bets. This winter, give the gift of racing with Naira Bets gift cards. Share your passion with friends and family or instantly fund your account. Choose the amount and redeem online. Find gift cards under the promotions tab at NairaBets.com.
Back on our Sunday coverage, America's Day at the Races brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. Making the sport easier to follow, explore stories, betting tips, and race day insights at americasbestracing.net. Still taking money and still the favorite, Ranger Battalion, 7-5 on the board for this 6th race.
Yeah, he's 7-5. Those odds aren't right. I think Garamond will probably be favored. I think it's crazy that Toxic Ray is the 3rd choice right now. What are we looking at here?
This is Ranger Battalion.
Yeah, he got a very good setup last time, but he ran well in that race. But he did have a good trip. You know, even though he moved outside, he spent most of the race in the rail before angling out. But he's in very good form for Linda Rice, and I don't really worry about the cutback in distance. I more would worry about the fact that there isn't that much speed in this race. You know, it's not the distance, it's the way the race sets up. And for a horse that comes from well back, even at a mile, he's going to be far back in this race. And horses like Toxic Ray and even Garamond are going to have a tactical advantage over him. So he really does need to be clearly the best horse in there, and that's debatable.
Well, for Garamond, that huge performance in April of last year at Aqueduct hasn't really fulfilled that promise since. Let's go down to Maggie for more.
That's right, Craig. That 99 buyer does live a little bit in isolation for Garamond, but I've always been of the mind that possibly less ground is better. As I'm going to move out of the way as we have Awesome Native in here. He's usually awesomely misbehaved and much the same as he does come back off the year-plus layoff. But back to Garamond, he is a bit of a horse that is shorter in stature, shorter coupled. Now, I always thought that maybe a mile is in his wheelhouse because he has that very laid-back disposition, that kind of long, scopy neck. But ultimately, he just really has not grown all that much. I do think his race at Tampa, however disappointing, was useful. Being upset at 1-2 is not something you like to promote, but at least it was a good tightener, 1 mile and 40 yards where he was battling on the front end. You know that there's foundation, you know that there's fitness in him, and since he has come from South Florida, boy, he looks tremendous here in the paddock. I think he's incredibly intriguing in this race, but there's a lot of other horses that I think you can make a case for as we head back out to Arkansas with Richie and Meg for their 5th.
Thanks, Maggie. Yeah, I mean, we've got a good competitive $20,000 claimer here for Arkansas breds going 2 turns. And we both, obviously, the horses take money at 3-1. We both like the 6 Chrome's Echo a little bit, although I question how far he really wants to go, although he did break his maiden going a mile.
I thought he looked best in this group here for Brett Creighton, but I just debated him off of that last effort. He was so flat, and he did so against the likes of Arkansas Bretts in and around this same tag. My eye gravitated towards the number 9 Devils Fork, who gets back out of that open try last time out, back with State Bretts, and he wants all the ground in the world.
Yeah, I thought he was very logical as well, from John Ortiz, Short Leaf Stable, John Ed Anthony. I thought the 10-horse Great Barrier was a little bit interesting. This is a horse that is back in the Steve Asmussen barn. His best races were when he was with Steve, and he really made an absolute outstanding impression on the racetrack.
It was nice to see him get a sharpener kind of off of that pretty long layoff from August of last year. Sometimes just getting that 6 furlongs into them to stretch them out and take that next step forward second off. I think he's going to be better for it. He is 1 for 5, 2 in the money on a wet sealed surface that we have today, and he just showed no speed last time out. He obviously needed it, and I think he'll hopefully be a bit more tactical from the outside.
Well, he should be. I mean, obviously with that outside draw, he's going to have to work out a trip, but I think coming out of that one sprint, like you said, race under his belt, he should be sharper. And Eric Asmussen's been riding so well. He's right in that sweet spot for a jockey where his confidence level is so high. It's just on the point of being cocky, but it's like right there. He's got some swagger, and he's riding terrific.
He does, but the number 9, Devil's Fork, is my top selection in here. I just think he's going to get a much easier field of foes than what he faced last time out. As mentioned in his 2-turn debut off of the bench, he's ran on it before he broke his maiden around 2 turns, but this is the first time for him coming off of the bench. This horse, as mentioned, he's just huge. He's a 5-year-old, and he's a massive son of Double Irish, who last time out, we saw the antics in the paddock. He was incredibly difficult to manage and get the tack on. John Ortiz managed him a lot easier today. He was still very tricky, but at least not as strenuous an effort as it was when we last saw him.
Yeah, no, it was much, much better. Last time I thought he expended way too much energy pre-race. Difficult getting the tack on. It looks like they did a really good job schooling him. And, you know, in spots like this, you want them to conserve as much energy as possible.
The only thing I question with this horse is sometimes I find he gives himself too much to do. He gets off slow in the gate. A lot of times with these bigger horses, especially him, where he's not the most powerful from behind. He's a big, kind of takes up a lot of space in the gate. So I'm hoping for him to break clean. Last time out, he was kind of up against it on the rails. So break clean, go forward, use a bit of tactical speed, because there is some speed on deck, but not too much of it.
No, but, you know, I think what we were talking about, how he was acting, really kind of points him out. Because sometimes, Megan, when these horses are amped up and they're, you know, kind of a little too worked up, they don't set themselves up properly in the gate. And they wind up having to reset their feet that split second the door opens. And that gets you left. So I'm thinking more drawn towards the outside. Last time he had post 1. The fact that he's been acting much better, hopefully he will break better and get position. Because I agree with you. I think it's just going to be a moderate tempo here.
It's promising that they used both of his waiver that they had allowed when he ran protected off the bench. We'll see if he can rebound off that last effort.
No, I think he's back in the right spot with Arkansas Breds, and he's acting well. Let's see how it shakes out. Matt Ditterman, he's got your call.
On post position number 5. And Great Barrier to the outside post. Waiting for Great Barrier. Goes Zip. We're ready to go. And we're off. Devil's Fork away very slowly. And then after the start, Chrome's Echo had to take up. Towards the back of the field he goes. To the front, that's Reveille Valley striding clear of Party in the Streets, who runs in second with Great Barrier. Holding pattern down on the inside as they corner. Mansoura, 5 lengths off the lead early. Dinner at Crumpy's right behind him. Hoppin' John, 4th last today. Devil's Fork finding himself between horses. Ready Shoes on the rail. And Chrome's Echo, who's deep with that pair. Approaching the backstretch, Reveille Valley clear on the lead of length. Party in the Streets on a hold. He's running in second. Great Barrier, 3 deep onto the backstretch. Gap of 4 to holding pattern. He's 4 clear of Mansoura, taking the 5th position away from Dinner at Crumpy's. Devil's Fork in the bridle early. He's still towards the back of the field here. Hoppin' John to his outside. The 2 at the back, Ready Shoes and Chrome's Echo as they hit the half-mile pole. Reveille Valley. Amanda Poston clear by a length here. Party in the Streets second. So the 2 grays are 1-2 as they go into the far turn. Great Barrier about to claim second as I say that. Great Barrier under a bit of a ride, but he's claiming second from Party in the Streets. And here comes the rest of the field now. Holding pattern inside. Devil's Fork is making a rally on the outside. He's passing horses with confidence. Mansoura is next in the group as they round the turn. Party in the Streets is giving way. Then comes Chrome's Echo trying to mount a rally from last. The early leaders are getting gobbled up here. Devil's Fork is the one that gets the jump on the closers. Hoppin' John into the second position, battling for that win too. Devil's Fork, 1 furlong to go, getting towards the rail here, shifting ground, but is clear, and he's opened up 2.5 lengths, Devil's Fork. The slow start, no problem for Devil's Fork, who's going to report home a winner, and an open length winner at that. Devil's Fork, 4 ahead. Mansoura in a photo for second with Hoppin' John, and then Ready Shoes, who was 4th with Dinner at Crumpy's.
Well, it was the 9, Devil's Fork. He made some mistakes, Megan, didn't break particularly well, but he gets it done, and you are now 2 for 2 on today's card.
Goodness, now we're going to have to, like, really go to the windows. I'm joking, obviously, but the number 9, Devil's Fork, had those same issues as precluded him in the past. He did not get out of the gate well. Big horse, made a kind of a wide bid. He was in between horses early and powered away. He was best of this field and gets back into Archiebreds. And I thought down the lane, he either wins this or it was his to lose at that point, and he managed to seal the deal late.
Well, it looks to me like he hit the front, kind of got to gawking around a little bit until he was fully set down, but a nice ride here. Patient after breaking slow, and guys, favorites reign again here at Oakland.
Back to New York. See what happens here. Ranger Battalion has been sort of the story, at least on the board, continuing to be the favorite here throughout the wagering, and he'll kick off this post parade. Eric Cancel will ride for Linda Rice.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some changes in here. He can win. He's good enough, but I think when the dynamics so much favor his chief competition, it makes it hard for him.
Soze, 6-time winner.
You just never know when Kaiser Soze is going to show up. He looks like the speed on paper, doesn't he?
He's incredibly quick. Yes, he does. Garamond, will turning back help him out?
I think it will. I'm just starting to wonder how good he really is.
Toxic Gray, 2-1.
I don't wonder how good he is. I believe he'll be favored by post time. I think he should be.
10 of his 17 starts, he's been first or second. And then Awesome Native, been off since December of 24.
This is an owner taking over the training of his horses. And as you can note, this horse has had 4 different trainers in his last 4 starts, which kind of begs the question, who's he going to blame if this horse doesn't win today? But I will tell you one thing about this horse. He's good. I mean, he's got back races that are better than anybody in this field. I just don't know if you can trust him, but he's got some real talent in there.
4 minutes to post here in the 6th. Back to this one. Garamond, 3-2. His comeback race, hadn't raced since July of 25, returns mid-January at Tampa and gets beat at 1-2.
You know, I was reading what Chad Brown was saying to Dave Grennan from the DRF about this horse, and it feels to me, and I haven't talked about this horse with Chad since his maiden win at Tampa, that he's frustrating Chad. Because Chad said, you know, I didn't really want to come back into my own 40 with him, but I didn't really want to run him at 6.5 at Aqueduct. It was the race that came up. So what does he want for him? What do I think? I think his best race has been around 1 turn. I thought his Gotham was good, obviously beating Cornucopian. You know, a horse that, you know, we saw win impressively in a return race not that long ago. That was impressive, but that race, I know it got a decent figure at Tampa, but you remember that race, Greg. We showed it on TV. That was not a very strong field. It was a disappointing effort by him. I think less distance will help him. My question is, if the 4 and 5, and Maggie can work on this one, if the 4 and 5 both run their races, isn't the 5 just a better horse?
Even if Garamond, the numbers I look at, if he goes back to the best performance he ever ran, he's still not
That's what I
as
think.
fast as Toxic
So
Gray.
he's got to, if you like him, you have to get him to improve, I think, Maggie.
Yeah, any numbers that you look at, yes, he does have that 199 buyer, but other metrics don't have it quite as fast as that. So I too went with Toxic Gray in here. I like what I'm seeing from him physically. I did 2 starts ago, to be fair. I wasn't here on February 7th. And, he's a horse that, has just been beaten by horses that on those particular days have run very fast races. Ignite the Light with a 100, 900, then running a 103 or 105. So he's run into some horses that are good and have run really good on those particular days. He looks great here, and I think he should be favorite, as we'll check in with a horse that, if he can reach down deep, then he actually is the horse who has some of the fastest races, as you guys were mentioning, in number 6, Awesome Native. But he has a year-plus layoff, like 15 months nearly, to contend with. He's always been a good-looking horse. He's beautifully put together. So obviously there's the ability, the openness to have that talent, because he has the physical attributes. The problem is mentally, I think, a lot with him. He's always tough to saddle. He was particularly bad today, as he almost ran me over in the paddock. He was shaking. Once he got with the pony, he was a little bit better overall. But a horse that, while he looks fit, he looks strong, physically, I like what I'm seeing from him. It's just that intangible of that long layoff, and mentally, is he a horse that still wants to do it? That's kind of my biggest question mark with him, guys.
Yeah, we'll see what we get from this one on the long time away, but obviously big ability when he was running. 7 years old now, Awesome Native the 6. And, back to Ranger Battalion for a minute. Obviously that last race, but for you, I mean, do you want to see more? Is there other races besides just the last effort that make him deserving of this kind of price?
The one.
Yeah.
No. I think the one good thing he has going for him is he's in really good form. For a trainer in Linda Rice, who, when her horses are in good form, they continue to hold that form. My biggest problem with him is not his talent, because I do think that he is talented. It's a hard race for him to win, because his chief competition has so much more tactical speed in a race that doesn't really feature a lot of pace. And he has no speed. So he's got to not just be the best horse in the race, he's probably got to be 2 lengths better than his competition to win this race. And I don't see his races matching up like that, if that's fair.
There's the speedster Soze about to step in. Favorite, though, the one we agree should have been and is, this gray. Center screen, Toxic Gray. It's been a while since he's won, but he's, as Maggie mentioned, has faced some really difficult company. We are set for the 6th. Chris Griffin, the call.
Awesome Native. Goes in. All set. And they're off. Toxic Gray is showing early speed. Awesome Native towards the outside. And here comes Soze. Soze is trying to challenge, but Toxic Gray is quickest. And now clears off, is up by a length and a half. Garamond with an early move is going to split rivals here and move up towards this leader. Soze is going to hold that position 2 wide. 4 wide is going to be Awesome Native. The one taken back was Ranger Battalion. It's a 4-way battle for the front, and Toxic Gray is at the rail. 22.61 for that opening quarter mile. Soze is now in the 2 path, is chasing out wider. 3 wide now is going to be Garamond. Taking off that pace was Awesome Native. Got over to the rail to save some ground into the turn, and the trailer, starting to pick up rivals from the back, will be Ranger Battalion. The leader is Toxic Gray. Toxic Gray is still in front. All in is Soze, not cutting in the margin. Garamond's got to pick it up too. He's back to 4th, just got passed to the inside by Awesome Native. Ranger Battalion trying to pick it up from the back of the pack, but Toxic Gray is trying to run them right off their feet. It's Toxic Gray who's opened up by 6, 7 lengths now with a final furlong to go. Off the long layoff, Awesome Native has now run up into 2nd on the grandstand side, but this is going to be a dominating front-running score. Kendra Carmouche with another one. Geared down, Toxic Gray. Much the best. Awesome Native 2nd, then came Soze and Ranger Battalion in 1 minute 16.10 seconds.
Moving. And Kendra Carmouche says, I'm not going to mess around. I'm on the best horse. Let's just take command early.
Okay, Kendrick, you whined to me when I criticized a ride of yours. I will compliment you here. This was a very good ride. I know he's riding the best horse, but he rode him like the best horse. You know, he put him in front. He knew there wasn't a lot of speed. He was aggressive. On this racetrack, 22.61 is not that fast for this kind of quality horse. He took the race to everybody else, and he dominated. He rode the best horse, but he absolutely rode him the right way. And as we talked about, Port Ranger Battalion just couldn't overcome, you know, the fact that the race was going to be dominated up front. Nice effort by Awesome Native off the long layoff with his owner taking over the training. And as far as Garamond, I don't think distance is the question with him. I just don't think he can really run anymore.
It's a sharp final time, isn't it?
Yes, the track's pretty quick today. But this horse, yeah, but this is not the first good race this horse has run.
He's very talented.
You and I both thought he was a layover in this field, to be honest.
116.10, Toxic Gray, fourth win of his career, and wins by as many as he wants here.
Yeah.
Mike Maselli, winning trainer.
I just think sometimes, you know, when heavy favorites win, listen, Kendrick rode the best horse, but he rode him right. And I think it should be pointed out. Sometimes, you know, you just take for granted, but he did the right things with him, and I think that's important.
5-6-2-1, no doubt about it, winner. It's Toxic Gray. Easy as could be, taking command from the outset, and it was over. We'll be back with prices next.
Welcome back. You're watching America's Day at the Races as Toxic Gray streaks down the Big A stretch, running a nice final time of 1:16 and change. And I'm pleased to be joined by winning trainer Mike Maselli here in the Big A winner's circle. And Mike, he'd been running into some pretty fast horses in his last two, not disgracing himself. Kendrick pulling no punches today and going straight to the lead.
Yeah, Kendrick's been after me to ride the horse, and he's been second his last two starts, and he's been a little farther back than what I wanted. And Kendrick says to me, well, you think he's got the speed to make the front? I says, with you, yes.
And that really paid off, because you're right. Before the layoff, he was a horse that, was flashing the ones. What can you do other than the rider to kind of get a horse back to showing that speed?
He had a couple sharp works, not recently, but in the past he has. And, you know, he's been a horse that we took back a few times. It might have been a mistake. And he wants to be right in the fight of things.
Now, graduating through this condition, what's the next step with a horse like him?
I guess the 3X, I'll have to talk to the owner about it, but that's probably the next stop for him.
Well, he's been a cool horse. Congratulations here. Really fast effort today.
Okay, thank you, Maggie.
All right, Mike Maselli getting Toxic Gray with an impressive win here at the Big A. Greg?
Impressive indeed, completely wrapped up almost the length of the stretch. And fourth career win for Toxic Gray. Kendrick Carmouche, third win of the afternoon. Our winner's circle lead-in brought to you by Fasig Tipton Digital, North America's #1 digital platform for thoroughbreds. Learn more about our auction schedule at digital.fasigtipton.com. Let's get digital.
Nice to see his horse get a win here, first of all, for Mike, who's a good trainer. Nice to see him have a nice horse like this, but he's always run some good races. He's just going to meet some tough competition. I think Awesome Native ran well for a second. You know, his first start off the long layoff, he kind of got forced out in the stretch when Soze took a right turn. I thought it was a solid effort by him for second.
Race 7, mile and an eighth. Will stretch things out. 2 turns, 50,000 starter allowance. Kavanaugh, big effort last start, won by more than 6 lengths in a conditioned $20,000 claiming race. At this distance, though, at a mile and an eighth.
Yeah, this is an interesting race. I think you go through this field. JJ's Raider, who's the speed, is Ranger's a little hard to make. You know, he beat a cheaper field last time out, a lower level field, and he's supposed to have House United close to him with Pratt. I like Kavanaugh. I never imagined he'd be the favorite. I have a double going with him, which isn't paying very much. I did not expect him to be this price, to be honest with you, but that's what I like.
All right, we'll talk more about this field when we come back from a timeout. The man aboard Senegal going to try and make it 3 in a row, a former force in the Mid-Atlantic. Shifting his tack here to New York and having lots of success, taking a big shot in his career. Sit down with Maggie Wolfendale when we come back.
Prince of Monaco's too good for Moose, an impressive winner of the best pal. Miramondi's all hot, but Prince of Monaco too good.
Prince of Monaco, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Seize the Gray wins convincingly.
Seize the Gray. He's going to seize the day in the Pennsylvania Derby.
Seize the Gray is still there. Seize the Gray wins the Preakness.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Back with you on our Sunday coverage on Fox Sports 2. You're watching America's Day at the Races. We are 19 minutes away from race 7 and a rider on Senegal coming up in the 7th. We'll try and make it 3 in a row on that runner. For a time, he was the king of the Mid-Atlantic, racking up riding titles at Delaware and Laurel Park. But Jamie Rodriguez wanted to prove he could make it on a major league circuit and permanently shifted his tack here to New York. Maggie Wolfedale sits down with Rodriguez to talk about his career and what's next.
Jamie, we see you making quite an impression here in New York, winning races left and right. But many people might not know that you actually began your career here in New York 15 years ago. Talk a little bit about the early days.
I came in 2010. I came straight to Belmont. I rode in Belmont. We went to Saratoga. I was doing great and everything. And when we back to Belmont, I was a little bit frustrated because I was winning and everything like that. And I packed all my stuff. I got frustrated. I said, you know what, I'm leaving. And I said, once I finish riding, and then I just go back home or I going back to a different track and everything like that. And that day, I think I went 4. And then I came back home. I unpacked everything. My ego went up and everything like that, you know. We came here in the winter time and we are doing amazing here. And I think I was leading Bug Boy. Ramon was first, I was second, and everything was going awesome.
After injuring his collarbone in December of 2010, Jamie spent the next decade riding at Tampa Bay Downs, Mahoning Valley, and Finger Lakes before finding his biggest success at Delaware Park and Laurel Park.
Shas Bullitt and Jamie Rodriguez. They're racing into history here at Laurel Park. It's a record-tying 7-win day for Jamie Rodriguez. Unstoppable Jamie Rodriguez.
You should be really proud of your accomplishments. But one thing that I've noticed that a lot of horsemen have noticed about you is your emphasis on teamwork, and that you like to go out, you like to work horses, you like to be familiar with your mounts from the morning to then get to ride them in the afternoon.
And I love it. Like when they tell me to work, I even told my agent, I say, I don't care, it can be cold, whatever. And I like that, you know. I like to see people. I like to see the horses that I work and everything like that. I never get scared of working.
Do you remember this?
My God, that's an old picture. Wow, that's Leah Grametti.
Yeah, that's
the
Leah.
great filly.
Leah's horse.
Wow.
And it's going to be Greeley's Law. A decisive move by Jamie Rodriguez to the quarter pole.
It's been 15 years of starting proverbially at the top here in New York, and then having to slide back down and now work your way up.
Mm-hmm.
What's the next step up?
If everything goes the way he's going right here, you know, I would love to keep going with the me, Belmont, Saratoga, and then that's one goal we gotta finish. I got the support from the family. My wife always tell me, I say, you can do, and then we be behind you 100%.
How important is it to have the support of your family?
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. My 3 kids, basically they're my engine, you know?
Yeah.
If I gotta go to another side of the world for them, I'll do it.
I love that.
It's good, you know, because the way they grow, the time go fly, you know, and every time that I got a little bit of time to spend with them, and I go and do, and then if I gotta go back to work, they even ask me, Daddy, you go back to work? I say, yeah, I gotta go back to work. When will you back? So I'll be back Sunday night. And it's awesome, you know, and especially the little one, oh my gosh. And the older one, that's me completely, the older one, completely. She jump horses and everything, like, I love it. Whatever they want to do, I'm gonna be there, you know? But I'm gonna give them what I know how when I was a kid, you know, and I don't care how much expensive they are, you know, and if they are happy, I'm happy.
Started riding in Puerto Rico when he was just 16 years old. Maggie's gotten some big opportunities here in New York as well. A couple of stakes wins for Brad Cox on My World. He won the Nashua, the Jerome. What have you seen from him since he's come here to New York?
I've been very impressed with him, Greg. You know, he was here as a young rider starting out. Maggie talked to him about that 2010. And the maturation since then. I mean, he has become a race rider. The biggest compliment I can pay a rider is call them a race rider, not a jockey. Somebody who's dedicating themselves to the craft of it, who's paying attention to track biases, who's doing his homework, watching replays, really dedicating themselves to it. So as a kid, I saw somebody with a lot of natural ability, but it was very raw. And now I'm seeing a mature rider, someone that approaches it the proper way. And, you know, there's a window for every rider where you're at your best physically and your best mentally. And I feel like he is in that moment right now. That's when a rider's at their prime. Because when you start out, you have that raw ability, but it's you know, just your youthful enthusiasm that sees you through, and the physical gifts you have when you start to really see a race and that experience. So right now, to me, he's that perfect blend of that experience, seeing a race properly, and still the physical skills to suit as well. I've been very impressed. I really hope that he gets an opportunity to stick around New York. You know, it always gets a little tougher when all of the riders are back in one place or congregating in one place, but I think he's well on his way to establishing himself here.
Well, we're going to see him coming up in this next race as well. His longtime agent, tough to see him go, who worked with him all those years in the Mid-Atlantic, but said he's always there for him if he ever comes back. They won a lot of races and a lot of money together, but said as good a rider as he is, he's a better person, and extremely happy for him. Here's the one he'll ride, Senegal, who's won 2 in a row with Rodriguez aboard.
Yeah, you know, listen, it's obviously going to get a lot tougher for him when the big guns come back to town, though Flavian's been here and a lot of big guns have been riding here this winter. But it's going to get deeper and more competitive. But it's not going to, he's still going to get some live mounts. He'll get opportunities maybe to go out of town for some top riders. So I think he's going to do just fine. He can ride. There's no question about it.
What do you think of Senegal quickly here in this race coming up?
Let's see. I didn't like him. Probably bodes well for his chances. He's got to overcome his trainer. I don't like the fact that his last race was a big effort, but was on a wet track, and I just don't know if he's quite good enough. That
was a shot at Maggie. Yeah, Tom Morley, the trainer of Senegal.
Maggie is like, you know, she deserves some sort of Nobel Peace Prize, to be honest.
Race 6 at Oakland, 6 furlongs in this 12,000 starter allowance. Let's send it out to the track.
Yeah, Megan, this is a pretty hard-hitting starter allowance. I think you or I are kind of opposite in our analysis here, but we'll start off in the post at the 1, Mercy Warren.
I think this horse has a chance. She's got some back form that puts her in the mix.
The 2-horse Balladry from the Steve Asmussen barn looks great on the racetrack.
She does, but she's going to be speed, and I thought that she's going to have to sort through a contested pace.
And the horse right outside her could have a little speed, Argon.
Yep, speed once again. Petite, smaller made individual.
This is who I like, the 4, Icy River, daughter of Keen Ice. She just shows up. She's consistent.
She is. She's an out-and-out sprinter. Has to deal with pace directly to her inside.
But the 5, Miss Jeopardy, got the best of it the last 2 times.
She did. She's on a roll. Can she do it for the 3rd? We'll see.
The 6, Danced My Way for the King Pool Barn.
Honestly, this horse looked pretty good for a 7-year-old mare, though her form was lacking last time out.
Jetpack, the 7, taking all the money at the moment at 2-1.
Yep, they see that form lines, 3 straight wins, and she's won decisively.
Hey, Tartaria closed nicely last time, making the first start for Steve Asmussen.
She did, and she does get some pace in here today.
The 9, Singing Emma.
I just couldn't get with her as far as having to contest with some of the others that I think are a bit better on the lead.
And then the far outside, the 10, Laura Branigan.
I really like this horse. She looked fantastic in the paddock. She's coming off of some consistent efforts, and she's won over a muddy surface in just 1 try.
It's just a really competitive spot. I like the 4, Icy River. Ultimately, where are you going to land?
I really like the 10. I think she makes a lot of sense in here at a price. I liked price horses in this spot. I thought it was very competitive, all knowing that the number 7, Jetpack, is in very good form right now. I'm going to take a shot with Mercy Warren. And I understand she doesn't seem to be the horse that she was in Saratoga when she managed to get a comfortable trip. And yes, in Saratoga when she was able to get to the lead and be gone from there routing. But I think I like her being able to cut back in distance. She can be a rateable type sprinter as she does draw from the inside. She's 2 for 7 on a wet sealed surface. She can be a bit tactical. I think she looks even better than when I saw her at Saratoga. She's got some power to her hind end. She's athletic. She's fit. I thought it was worth taking a chance between her. I was kind of between her and the number 10. And in these kinds of races, it's just so tough. These starter allowances, there's a lot of different form to sort through.
It really is. And, you know, there's some horses that are more accomplished, obviously, like Icy River, the 4. I love that 9 wins, 9 seconds, 4 thirds. You know, she just brings her game every time.
She always shows up, and she's just 1 for 6, though, here at Oakland Park. 2 for 6 on a wet track. She doesn't have any issues with that. And as I mentioned, she looks like an out-and-out sprinter. I didn't have any issues with her other than the fact that she's going to have some company on the front end.
And we should let everybody know at home, they have started to kind of back rake this track a little bit, opening it up in increments. It is now labeled good. And with this bright sunshine and the steady breeze we have, going to go a long way to being close to fast by the last race.
Oh, yeah, I think so. It's really sunny out here. It's warmer. I think we'll be really trending towards fast, particularly by our feature 8th race, I would assume. But
have you noticed any trends today? I haven't. It feels like horses are winning from any place.
No, I haven't. And we kind of thought yesterday, making inferences, but horses were closing, horses were coming from inside, outside. I didn't see anything.
Yeah, no, I think today it's really showing. Horses have come from last and have won right up on the pace. And they are loading up for race 6 here. Going along pretty calmly, coolly collected. A good group of experienced fillies and mares here. Here's Matt Dinneman with the call.
Balladry. Singing Emma, Icy River, the next pair. 2 back, Miss Jeopardy. And Laura Branigan. Started the late pick 4 here. We're ready to go. And we're off. A little bit of a tardy break from Mercy Warren from the inside. Argonne is sent for speed, has got a share of the lead, grabs a short edge here from Singing Emma, who claims the second position. Dance My Way pressing Argonne on the front end. Argonne a half length in front of Dance My Way. Laura Branigan claiming the third position with Icy River. Balladry's down on the inside. Singing Emma between horses, 3 wide. Gap of 2 to Jetpack. Mercy Warren next. Miss Jeopardy second to last. Tartaria at the back as they scoot into the far turn. Argonne narrow lead. Dance My Way right there to hound. Laura Branigan coming on 3 wide in the 3 path. Gap of 2 to Balladry. Sent upon from 4th. Icy River being asked to pick up the pace. Mercy Warren trying to pass horses here. And so is Jetpack on the extreme outside deep as they hit the quarter pole. Argonne drops anchor. Dance My Way on the lead. Laura Branigan right up alongside. Argonne is given way down on the fence. Then comes Jetpack with Mercy Warren producing bids. Laura Branigan in front. Laura Branigan approaching the 16th pole. Clear by 2. Jetpack continues to run on here, but Laura Branigan's finding more on the lead, and Laura Branigan and Tyler Bacon will win it by about 2.5 lengths. 3-way go for second. It was pretty tight there between Mercy Warren and Miss Jeopardy. Jetpack didn't get it. She was 4th across the finish.
Well, it was Laura Branigan from the outside. The horse you liked at 17-1 under Tyler Bacon. And 6-year-old mare got it done. Now 3 wins, 6 seconds, and a third from 15 career starts.
I put some money on her. I was really loved the way she was turned out, but also the fact that she's a tactical type. There was some speed to her inside, and she was able to sit off of the pace and be able to make a really strong run. She looked amazing. She ran very well. It was tight there for a second. I'm kind of hoping the 1 comes home because I had a 10-1 exacta, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, 17-1, nothing to scoff at there. Laura Branigan gets it done in race 6. Greg?
Who's famous for what, Megan?
Gloria.
Somebody tip the big off. I'm not buying this at all.
Who told you, Meg?
I'm not buying this. Come on, come clean.
Somebody tell us.
Nice call, Meg, by the way. I think
that
you got
was like
second with the 1, by the way.
Sweet.
A big song when we were younger, Andy, right? I know she's one of your favorites.
I don't remember when I was younger.
Just gave it away that you had no clue who that was.
Long time ago. There's no way you've heard of that song.
Awesome Empire kicks off our post parade here in the 7th in New York.
Yeah, listen, this horse is in raging form for Gustavo Rodriguez, who won a couple races here the other day, and it's a big price.
There's Jamie Rodriguez trying to win 3 in a row in Senegal.
Yeah, I just thought the horse moved up a little on the wet track, but did run well for Tom off the claim.
2 just massive outlier performances from JJ's Ranger, which make him a contender here, but has never run those before.
Yeah, and also this horse is running in lower level races. At 16-1, you want the speed. It looks like him.
Pratt on House United for the Cantermachi barn.
Maybe Pratt will turn this horse around, but this horse does not want to win.
Even money on Kavanaugh?
I really like Kavanaugh today. I think even money is absolutely ridiculous, but he is in raging form and won against the track last time.
Carmouche looking for number 4 today on Corvino.
Corvino had a very good trip when 3rd last time. He does come out of a decent race. He doesn't have much speed. He's not my cup of tea. I think Maggie likes him more than I do.
Linda Rice, first off the claim with Kavanaugh, even money favorite. Wow, off a huge
Crazy,
victory.
Right?
Do not get that price. Jose Lezcano will be aboard, was dominant at 1 1/8. First win at the distance last time out on February 12th.
Yeah, I mean, this was a very impressive win by him. You know, this was a day you wanted to be inside. He was never inside. He was wide the whole way around the track. I know they were inferior horses to he runs against, but he still ran a figure that's good enough to compete here, and he did it way against the bias. And it just feels to me like Linda Rice may have claimed this horse at exactly the right time.
See if this one can back it up. 3 wins in the last 4 starts for this 4-year-old, so definitely going the right way as we go to Maggie.
Yeah, I think that might be the trend here with your current favorite, number 5, Kavanaugh, as I wanted to kind of knock him down a few notches because he was doing that and winning impressively against, you know, non-2 for 20s, you know, beating claimers for 20s. This is a real step up off the claim. But the fact of the matter is that this is a horse that I believe when he began his career, there were high hopes for him. So he's been a horse that has been cut out to be nice. He's had to slide down the ladder, but now maybe as a newly turned 4-year-old, he is realizing the potential that was carved out for him. He looks so much the best in here physically. It's a joke. And while I did end up with the other Linda Rice horse, I think Kavanaugh's going to win. To be fair, having looked at these horses in the flesh, but Curvino, I just thought, you know, last time he was coming back off of an 8-day rest, which Linda Rice, a trainer that is so well versed at doing that with her horses, but at least he gets a little bit more time between that last race and now. And Baron of Sealand, he was riding the rail throughout there. You know, Morlock and Sergeant Caps, they were kind of ding-donging on the front end, and Baron of Sealand sat back and just watched it all unfold with the perfect trip. And to be fair, Baron of Sealand came back against a tougher group that 2 days ago and ran very well to be second, I believe. And Curvino, yes, the fact that he doesn't have much early pace doesn't help him, but I don't mind him getting back out to this 1 1/8. He's well muscled. He is just that kind of big, laid-back, lumbering horse where 9 furlongs seems to be ideal for him. But Greg, no doubt about it, number 5, Kavanaugh, much the horse to beat, and it feels like Linda Rice is sending out a pretty gnarly 1-2 punch here.
Did you feel he was much the horse to beat?
The 5? I liked him. Whether it's the horse to beat, I didn't think he'd be 8-5. I mean, I think the morning line maker had him at 4-1 in here, and I thought I had a chance to get it. I mean, the problem with the race is, I mean, how is he like 8-5 and the 1 is 6-1? How could you predict that? Okay, I didn't really like the 2. I didn't really like the 3. House United is Pratt. He's coming off of decent figs. The problem with House United, the 4, he just doesn't want to win. He's gotten a lot of good trips, and you watch his last race. I bet him last time. He could not have gotten a better trip in there. And it's almost like he only got second because the winner blew by him in the stretch, and that caused him to sort of go forward and pass the horse inside of him. It's almost like he never would have passed that horse if he hadn't been passed. He doesn't want to win, and you can sort of see it, right? He's 2 for 22. He's been some short prices. He just doesn't get it done. I'm not saying he can't win. I guess he could, and Flavian, guess could anybody home, but, man, he gets this horse home.
I understand Kavanaugh's going the right way. There's no question. And Linda Rice can move a horse forward. That's fine. He looks great, too. He only has really that last race that makes him a major player in here faster than some others.
Yeah, Maggie made an interesting point. She said it on the morning show today, and she just said it now. He was a horse that was cut out to be okay. And maybe he's just taken a long time to sort of find himself. And it feels like Linda really got in at the right time. He ran huge last time, in my opinion, because he was way against the track, and he just absolutely galloped. It was a very, very soft field. I mean, First Trumpet would be 30-1 in this race, and maybe I'm being generous. Yeah. So, but he also beat him by a city block, and he did it while being against the track. These are the kind of horses I like, horses that run well against the track. But I'm not... Listen, I bet the double, even the double at like $13 for $2 is no bargain. I mean, I thought Toxic Gray would be tough to beat, but yeah, frankly, I'm not betting this race. I bet one small double, and I'm alive in the double, and I hope the horse wins. But no, I'm not betting him at 8-5.
Meanwhile, there's Pratt. It's gone back and forth now of late for favoritism between the 4 and 5.
They will not get off Kavanaugh.
No.
They will not get off him. It's probably a good sign. It does seem like Linda Rice's horses are very live on the board. They usually run to the money.
See how it plays out. Kavanaugh trying to win for the 4th time in the last 5 starts. Jose Lezcano for Rice first off the claim. Let's go to Chris Griffin for the call.
Kavanaugh. Curvino, last to load. Opening the front of the gate there was Senegal. Correction, that's towards the inside there. That was Awesome Empire. Now Curvino, last to load. Hit it. All set. And they're off. Awesome Empire breaks sharply, and so does JJ's Ranger. Hard sent towards the front, and Francisco Martinez wants to put JJ's Ranger into that first turn, and now is in front by a length and a half. Down towards the inside is Awesome Empire, is going to get past to the outside by Kavanaugh, who now takes place in second. Senegal is in behind them, is in the fourth position. Out wider comes House United. The early trailer is going to be Curvino, who got over to the rail and is comfortable there. Is 5 lengths off the leader of JJ's Ranger. Front running JJ's Ranger, 24.20 for that quick opening quarter mile. Right to the outside now, here comes Kavanaugh. Clear seconds to the outside of Awesome Empire. House United is a well-settled fourth, just moving forward in behind that pack, and then comes a Senegal just there in fifth. Losing touch with the field was Curvino as far back, and it's still JJ's Ranger. An ambitious journey up front, 47-4 for that half-mile time for the big long shot. Kavanaugh starts to move in closer in tandem with Awesome Empire and 3 wide House United. Senegal is asked for more. Senegal's trying to cut into the margin from fifth, and Curvino has trailed throughout. They haven't got JJ's Ranger yet. It's JJ's Ranger into the turn. Kavanaugh's asked for everything, and Kavanaugh just got passed by House United towards the outside, who's now taken second. House United and Kavanaugh, they chase this long shot in JJ's Ranger. JJ's Ranger's approaching, a quarter mile left to go. House United, Kavanaugh. JJ's Ranger hasn't gone away yet, is down on the inside, and House United with every shot. Just having to steady there was Kavanaugh in between horses. House United has now taken the lead. House United trying to sprint away. JJ's Ranger battles on. Kavanaugh's trying to re-rally too. It's House United. Flavien Prat is up by 2.5. House United will win it. House United over Kavanaugh. Then came JJ's Ranger and Curvino in 1 minute 51.13 seconds.
House United, Pratt for the Cantermachi barn, picks up just the third career win in 23 starts.
Just give Pratt his third Eclipse Award. When he starts winning on horses like this, short price or not, it's just over. I mean, this horse is a proven refusenik. Anybody that's watched his races has seen him hang week after week after week. Not with Flavien. Got him in good position and just took over. I think Kavanaugh was probably a little aggressive, not in the best of spots, but he was second best. He had every chance to beat this horse. And you and I were talking during the race. I didn't like him, but I have no idea how the 3 was 30-1. That's crazy.
I did like him a little bit, but that
you
was
liked
crazy.
him more than I did, but 30-1 is just crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't.
You're right. I mean, look at the riders who've had chances on this horse, and he just does not want to get it done.
And he's gotten good trips in these races. They've all ridden him well. But it doesn't matter. Flavien Prat is like Merlin on these horses.
4, 5, 3, 6. House United winds up, by the way, going off the slight 8-5 favorite. And the Magician gets it done. Flavien Prat for Cantermachi. Owns part of this 5-year-old as well, Diane Balsamo. And the first win since May of 25 for House United. We're going to take a timeout. Look back to yesterday. Looked like it was going to be all Galinda in the Matty May, but Victory Hall turns the tables for trainer Tom Morley. We'll have that story next. Back with you on our Sunday coverage on Fox Sports 2. Thanks for being with us on America's Day at the Races. We have the nightcap still to come here in New York. Plenty more on the way, including the feature from Oakland, Stars and Stripes. Very talented 3-year-old last season for Beaumont will be back in action here in the 7th. Flavien Prat, Ilke Cantermachi. House United wins at 8-5.
Just can't stop Flavien Prat. I mean, I know it's horse racing and it takes the horses, but this is a horse that has just been an absolute hanger week after week. It just seems like Flavien has a magic touch with horses. I give him a lot of credit for getting it done here.
He's winning it coming into today. 30% at the meet from almost 100 mounts.
He's getting a lot of live mounts. I'm not sure he has a positive ROI with that, to be honest with you, but he's just an exceptional rider. There's nothing else you can say about it.
$5.22 for the win. 8-5 on House United, and going to see a pretty heavy favorite to close it out here for the Linda Rice Barn. Kendrick Carmouche will try and notch number 4 for Linda on Moongate, who absolutely the one to beat, especially with a scratch of the 6 in here.
Yeah, well, it's not just a scratch of the 6, and I agree, the 6 was the other horse in here. It's very much the scratch of the 10, Daniil, because that takes out an enormous amount of speed from the race, and it helps Moongate. I'm not a Moongate fan. I don't know if she wants a mile. She may win because of the competition she's facing, but to me, 3-5, you can have her. I picked a silly horse, and she's complicated. The 3, who ran well enough to win this race 2 back, but not well enough last time. But she was against the track.
Okay. We're going to look back to yesterday. 2 stakes races on the Saturday card here in New York.
Got that out of the way.
One of them, you know, I was very excited about before we even saw the race yesterday. Skolko's Folly for Rick Dutrow Jr., who a couple starts back, ran a very big race late January, backed it up in the Gander.
Yeah, I mean, you told me before his last race that if he ran back his race 2 back, he couldn't lose. And I kind of looked at you like you're crazy. And I mean, he won by 10. And this race, okay, he had a race go in a flow that was favorable to him. Got a 92 buyer. This was a very, very fast race. He backed up his prior race. And Rick Dutrow, he's got a horse that can run the Stallion Series races. He and Mike Dubb have a very, very good horse on their hands. They can do really well with.
Showed too, he could stretch out to the mile.
He can run shorter. He has speed. He's New York bred. He's got New York bred stallion race. I mean, this horse, this is a good horse. Really good horse.
4 for 6 lifetime. Now a stakes winner of the Gander. And this horse was in for 25 maiden claiming last summer at Monmouth, by the way.
I told you we should claim him.
Ran a 35 buyer that day. My, how things have changed.
Just a little over, there's about $700 a buyer point.
Yeah. Well, he's
5.7. It's exactly 700.
Very
71.
exciting New York bred. We had a big upset in the Mattie May. Looked like many thought a foregone conclusion. Galinda was going to run away with this. You liked Victory Hall going in, and she stepped up.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Galinda was the horse to beat. I picked her on top, but I picked this horse second. I honestly, I don't think this is a particularly clever pick. And, I was reading what, Ricardo was talking about with Tom Morley about rating her, and that's what I assumed they would do. The time before, off the layoff, they went after Galinda. It didn't work. And then you go back and you change tactics a little bit. They comfortably rated behind her. She got a good trip, and she ran her down. Galinda didn't run a race. This did not come a very fast race. So it may have been partly a function of Galinda not running back to her prior two races. This horse paid 17-1. In my opinion, you could make an argument she could have been second choice. I have no idea what I was missing with Linda Rice's horse, who was 9-2. I have no problem with somebody thinking a horse like Linda's horse could improve off her 57 buyer win against a very weak field, but she should not have been 1/4 of the price of this horse.
Santana, Morley, Twin Sports Racing, Cypress Head Racing, and a daughter of Independence Hall. Now 4 for 7 lifetime.
And Maggie told me that Tom kind of misbehaved at home after winning the big race.
Did he? What?
Yeah, he was very mad that apparently the DoorDash hadn't been delivered for his dinner. I don't know how that was Maggie's fault, but I'm going to come to the defense of our coworker.
Okay. And that was on Maggie.
Well, she ordered the DoorDash, but apparently it didn't come fast enough for Tom. What can I say? He won a big race. He got a little
race
cocky.
like that, you go out to dinner, don't you?
Well, they do have 2 kids, but yes, I would say yes. You get a babysitter, you take Maggie out for dinner. Maggie, listen, she's the whole deal.
Here's what we have ahead this winter. Jimmy Winkfield, March 14th, Haynesfield, and then the top flight at the end of the month.
Oh, yeah, looking forward to some of those races. Haynesfield, his claim to fame, which you may or may not know. You probably know, but you won't come up right away. He was the only horse to beat Blame in what many of us believe was his Horse of the Year campaign in 2010.
He ran some huge races.
He did. Haynesfield? And, of course, even though he was partly owned by Toby Sheets, who was the assistant trainer for Steve Aston, who ran the show for him in New York, and he trained him as well. So a nice tribute to Toby.
We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. Our colleague Tom Amos with a big shot in the next race at Oakland. We're 5 minutes away from the 7th. Yellow Brick gets an outside post. Tom Amos first off the claim. We'll have Rafael Bejarano aboard next.
First again and again and again. First mission, 4 graded stakes. He made finishing first his mission, and all with big buyers. Now he's a Darley Stallion, and breeders are falling in love with him. Here's fabled horseman John Williams.
First mission is an eyeful. He's beautifully balanced, and I love the way he uses himself as he moves.
Come to see First Mission and tell us your first impression. Consider it your mission.
New York breds. Race them.
Respect them.
Bet them.
Respect them.
Breed them.
Respect them.
Buy them.
Respect them.
Train them for a second career.
Respect them.
Join us in respecting thoroughbreds at every stage of life. Learn more at nybreds.com.
Gunrunner is the sire of 16 millionaires and 12 Grade 1 winners. Last year, he sired $17 million yearlings, including the Keeneland September sale topper. He was the sire of the $2.2 million Keeneland November weanling sale topper as well. Gunrunner was the co-leading sire of 2-year-old Grade 1 winners, including Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner Super Corridoro. Gunrunner, breed true.
Join analysts Matthew DeSantis and Kaylee Shapiro on the road to the Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks. Get picks and analysis for all the prep races and gain insight into promising contenders on the trail to the Derby and Oaks. That and more on the Naira Bets YouTube channel. The Belmont Stakes Racing Festival returns for the final time to historic Saratoga Racecourse. Don't miss the Belmont Festival at Saratoga. June 3rd through 7th. Secure your place in history at BelmontStakes.com.
My favorite race is the 2019 Kentucky Oaks with my horse, Serengeti Empress, crossing the finish line first and everything that she brought to us with that win. I don't know what it's like to actually be an athlete in a major event, but I think that walkover is about as close a feeling as you can get to it because you just feel electric inside.
They're off in the Kentucky Oaks.
I really wasn't watching her out of the gate because a horse had stumbled and lost its rider. And I immediately turned to that horse to make sure she was okay. And then I turned my attention back to Serengeti Empress, who was making the lead going to the first turn and saving ground from the 13th hole. That was the plan. So everything to this point is going great. My wife had turned to me and said, 46 and change, that is too quick for a half mile. And I turned and I said, not for my horse, it's not. Turning for home, I thought she cut the corner great. She's gonna take a challenge right here. And I'm like, uh-oh. But when Serengeti sees this filly out of the corner of her eye, she re-brakes, takes off, and it's right about here where I realize I'm gonna win the Kentucky Oaks.
As they come down to the line, Serengeti Empress has taken the Kentucky Oaks.
I remember raising my hands like this, and then one of my friends patted me on the back, and I lost my balance. And I fell into my daughter, and I fell into my wife, and we hit the floor. And everybody piled on like it was like we just won the World Series. I must have thought about a million things at the same time, but the most overwhelming thought in my head was my parents. And I always hoped I could do something in their lifetime that would make them proud, a signature race, and this was it for me. I mean, how do you describe something that just makes everything in the world seem great? I don't know what's in the future for Tom Ames Racing Stable, what big races might be out there, but for me, this will be the one, and she'll be the one. I'll never, ever forget her.
I get goosebumps, Megan, every time I hear Tom talk about that race, what it meant to him. And, you know, now having worked with Tom for a few years and getting to know him even better, you really get why it means so much to him. He puts so much into his craft.
He really does, but an ultra-competitive field, I thought, Meg, here in this seventh $32,000 claimers, non-winners of 3 lifetime. I thought this was a really interesting race because you're having horses getting bet off of form on other surfaces.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too. I mean, you have a favorite right now, or co-favorite, the 2-horse Fireball Birdie inside post. Makes a lot of sense from the Asmussen barn. But the 3, Lucky Mischief, and the 4, from the Marcassi barn, to me, that's Time for Truth. Aren't they being bet 3-1 and 4-1 respectively off of their synthetic and or turf races?
Right, the number 3, Lucky Mischief. I had interest in on paper. Dallas stored as 26 overall the past 3 years on the surface switch from turf to dirt. Statistics are great. Looking at him, he looks a little bit turfy, and he's got those slacker pasterns, a bigger hoof on him. I'm a little dubious of him getting back to the dirt where he does not have a win. And the last time he did run on the surface, he was up against the likes of Disco Time. So this is a very reasonable spot for him on the drop-in class, but I still have my questions as well.
And the same can apply for the 4, Time for Truth. You know, the dirt races leave a little bit more to be desired, although the horse does have 2 wins on a faster track.
Yeah, the 4 at Time for Truth. His last race makes him competitive, but came on the all-weather. He has, as you mentioned, those wins. And to me, this is a logical play from the Marcassi barn, who's been a little colder, still 34%, but just a bit colder.
Well, it was unsustainable
Yes.
to keep the pace he was going. You like the 6, Lear, who's 5-1 right now.
I like this horse. I think that the jockey, who does remain, made a very premature move last time out at this mile distance. Gets back to the mile in a 16th. Big rowdy type. We'll see if he can put it together today.
And I like the 9, who is co-favored right now, Yellow Brick, from the Tom Ames barn. First time for Tom. And we're coming out of a feature about Tom. Been a pretty strong play. Definitely a strong play. Has to overcome that outside post, but they're all loading up pretty steadily here, so it's time to send it up. Matt Dinnerman, call of race 7.
One more story. Yellow Brick. Yellow Brick to the outside post. We're ready to go. And Laroff, Magna tap away very slowly. Fireball Birdie from the inside fairly close. Time for Truth aggressive here. Lucky Mischief in a line with one more story on the far outside. Into the first turn they go. One more story. He's going to take the initiative here, trying to cross over from towards the outside. Gets over towards the rail to save some ground and leads the way by a touch more than a length. Lucky Mischief second. Time for Truth. Parked outside now, claiming second from Lucky Mischief. Fireball Birdie happy to track in the fourth position. Lear to the outside. There's a gap of 2. Yellow Brick settling on the rail. Cobblestone Bridge alongside of him, and a big space to Magna Tap, who's well out of it, detached from the rest as they head down the backstretch here. One more story, clear on the lead, a length and a tail. Time for Truth second. Lucky Mischief getting closer on the rail is third in a pocket. Then Fireball Birdie, Lear, they're side by side. They're 2 better than another pair. Yellow Brick on the fence. Cobblestone Bridge to the outside, and still a big gap back to Magna Tap as they approach the far turn run here. One more story into the turn. 3 parts of a length ahead. Now it's a half length. Time for Truth, turning up the pressure on the outside, and they start to sprint as they round the far turn. One more story, narrow edge here. Time for Truth, doing it better on the outside. He comes calling for the lead, grabs it, and sticks his nose in front. One more story, begins a retreat a bit here, and it's now Time for Truth. He's the one to beat. Time for Truth off the turn, putting away one more story. Fireball Birdie chasing hard. Lucky Mischief still behind 2. 1 furlong remains here for Time for Truth. Time for Truth, clear by 2. Coming on, Yellow Brick down the center of the track. He's rolling. Yellow Brick, Fireball Birdie coming after Time for Truth, who needs to find more. Yellow Brick, Time for Truth between them. Fireball Birdie, Time for Truth, and Fireball Birdie in a photo finish. Very tight. Yellow Brick hung in third, and then Cobblestone Bridge at a massive number of 56-1 was fourth. It's a photo finish.
It was a blanket finish here in race 7. You had Time for Truth battling on. Here came Yellow Brick. This was, I'm not sure who got it, but this was a bang-bang finish.
It was a bang-bang finish, and typically in these kinds of cheaper races, kind of alludes to a fact that it wasn't an overtly strong race. The horses that we alluded to getting the money on different surfaces really didn't show up in the way that they were bet. Time for Truth putting in a good effort there, but the number 9, I think maybe have edged it out. Nice call, Miggy. Or Mig, I didn't. I thought I kind of merged our names together just now. I did not mean to call you that.
I think the inside horse might have battled them all off. I'm not sure that the 9 got up.
We'll see. It's close. I think the inside runner, you're right, might have gotten it done.
I actually think it was either the 2 Fireball Birdie, the 4 Time for Truth, and I think the 9 wound up third after making a bold late rally. But we'll wait on that photo. This was just a little too tight for me to call, guys. Noses up and down on the wire.
Let's run it out here one last time.
I thought the 4 got that bob at the wire, but it is a little tricky to call there, so I don't want to,
So Fireball Birdie, the 2, or the 4 Time for Truth. We'll let you know as soon as they post it in Hot Springs. In a thriller.
They did, the 2, 4, 9.
The 2. Yep. Eric Asmussen for Dad.
And Eric has certainly improved his riding, no question. He's a far better rider than he was last year.
And still to come at Oakland again. Stars and Stripes back in action for Bill Mott. We'll see, maybe really only has that one race that was sort of, wow, this could be a really, really good horse.
I agree. And when he ran badly here back in the fall was a day that a bunch of Bill Mott runners ran terribly.
Condition $17,000 claiming race, 1 turn mile to close it out in New York. Moongate, you're not a fan of.
Well,
3 to 5 favorite.
She's a horse to beat, but she's a tough horse to swallow at that price.
Here's Asa Ira, who is a player now, was behind Moongate 3 lengths last start.
Moving into her current trainer, Linda Dixon's barn for her last start, she really stepped forward, and she is a horse that has back races that can win this.
Dolce Serra, Eddie DeLauro barn.
Just doesn't really get it done. Eddie DeLauro with a good claim earlier today of that firster for Todd Pletcher that won.
She's complicated, could be forward.
I liked her race 2 back. I thought she really ran well today, and she's run well in the past. She was bad last time, but she was chasing wide against a gold rail. So at a price in here, I took her.
Santagata, not named after Nick Santagata.
Very disappointing. But I think this horse actually ran sneaky okay last time, and I think she has a chance to get a piece.
Amity Island, huge number.
She's a little tough to take in this race, second off the layoff.
8-year-old mare.
Yep.
Here's Moongate, 3-5.
No excuse last time. The horse who beat her was favored. They both rode the rail, but she had the benefit of a good rail last time. And I really question whether she wants to go this far, but she should be the main speed with a 10 scratching.
A lot easier for the 9. Does drop, but has been against the easier and done nothing.
But does cut back a little bit. But you're right, does drop down. But has run this condition before and not run well.
Some okay efforts for the 11 at a huge price.
I agree. For a horse that's a crazy price, this horse wide last time. On a day the rail was the place to be, and does have some back races. It's not a rider we see a lot, but for 30-1, this horse has some credit.
All right, let's go back to the one you like. She's complicated.
I don't. It's like as a she's my pick.
Or selected.
Yeah. My feeling here was that. Well, first of all, let me start by saying when I picked her, I thought the 10 was in the race. And that was going to hurt the 7. Having said that, she's a forwardly placed horse, so the 10 scratching helping the 7 doesn't really hurt her, and I think she can sit second here and be effective. Her race 2 back, she held together in a race where the pace fell apart fairly well, and I thought it was her first good race in quite a while. I don't trust her. She was against the track last time, and I figured I picked her last time. I cannot pick Moongate, so I had to find somebody else, so I'll lose a few bucks on her.
We send it downstairs to Maggie. Shame on you for that DoorDash order.
I know, I just could not cook the Peking duck in time, Greg. Took a little longer at the dumpling house to get our order done, but it was delicious nonetheless when it did arrive. As we will take a look here at your favorite, Moongate. I copped out and took the favorite here. As Andy touched on, I just thought her job got easier with the scratch of the other speed horse in here. I too, given her physical confirmation, question her affinity for a mile because she is a little bit smaller and compact, but she's actually a little bit more tucked up than what I saw from her last time here for Linda. So I do think she looks the part, at least as a favorite. We'll check in with the second choice down on the rail. That's Asaira, who did run an improved effort for Linda Dixon first time in her barn, but she is a horse that you see that gap from July to November. The reason, or one of the reasons for the layoff was she lost her eye. She lost her left inside eye, and 2 back, they decided to take the protective goggle off. She ran really badly, but she was running badly without the eye before that. Then I know Linda Dixon and her team wanted to put the goggle back on, but they didn't declare it, so they made her run without it again. So she ran okay without it. Now they put it back on her. I don't know. In my experience with one-eyed horses, and to be fair, a lot of them have dealt with the missing eye for a bit longer. They actually run okay without anything over that eye socket. So we'll see how she does here. She was moving very well over the track, so that I can appreciate. I too am interested in the long shot Santa Gata here. I noted she had improved in many ways for her first start for Devin Giddens. Her disposition, she was a lot less nervous. She was carrying good weight. Her coat looked great. Were all things that I had problems with her in the past with. Today, now that she's second off the bench, just a bit more defined, but still strong looking, which I appreciate. So I do think she is definitely live in this spot, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. Wow, 1-2 now on Moongate.
Maybe she just goes out and just wires this field, but I can't stomach her at that price.
And look, the other one who's second choice right now, that's Asaira down on the rail. She was 3 lengths clear of her, Moongate was, when they met back on February 15th. See if the tables turn today. 8th finale on this Sunday card from New York. 1-turn mile. Let's go to Chris Griffin.
There's Gregorian solo to the outside. Gregorian solo goes in. All set. And they're off. Tough break there for Santa Gata, and also She's Complicated got squeezed at the start. The leader and clearing off is going to be Moongate, who finds the lone lead, is now a little keen, wants to go, is well out in the center of the racetrack and is up by a length. At the rail is Asaira, is going to try and apply some pressure, and She's Complicated now rushing up after the start. Also moving forward there is Moonlit Weekend. Santa Gata has worked to the far outside as they're now tightly bunched. Towards the inside and the back end of that group is Dolce Seta. Second to last is going to be Gregorian Solo, and Amity Island is the trailer. 24.02 for the opening quarter mile. Asaida has now taken the front, is up by a neck, followed by Moongate to the outside. And here comes She's Complicated towards the inside, a challenging third. Moonlit Weekend is outside of them. Dolce Seta, nowhere to go, is right there in fifth. From the back, Santa Gata very high up in the saddle there. Gregorian Solo is making a wide rally. The rider is well up in the saddle there. Almost standing straight up, is going to be 5-6 wide. 47-4 for the half-mile time. The trailer, Amity Island. Asaida is all in. Moongate is back for more, and Moongate is now a neck back in front. Santa Gata is all in towards the outside. Dolce Seta is trying to rally on at the rail, and also She's Complicated. They reach the top of the stretch, and Moongate was trying to put away a stubborn Asaida, who just won't go away. Asaida is now back up by a length, almost a length and a half. Moongate, looking out towards the grandstand on the right-hand side, is trying to straighten up, but Asaida has a 16th left to go and is drawing away. Asaida will win the finale. Moongate finished second, then came Dolce Seta and Santa Gata in 1 minute 39.04 seconds.
Asaida turns the tables on the odds-on favorite here, Moongate, to close out action in New York.
I don't think anyone could have predicted this horse would be in front. Now, maybe they got a little cute with the favorite not trying to get the distance. We believe the 7 took out half the field to start as well. She came in, hit the 6, who interfered with the 4, who really interfered with the 3. So that wasn't nice. And then they rated her in front, but I give a lot of credit to Christopher Elliott, who was aggressive with Asaida, and the only way Moongate was ever winning this race is if she was able to clear the front. So I don't really quite understand the tactics there, to be honest with you. But as I said before the race, I wasn't a fan either. And this horse was best, and she got the best ride.
2 for 12 coming in, 3 lengths behind this one last start. Different story today. 1-7, 2-4, 47, a one-shot Dolce Seta completes the trifecta.
I mean, Kendrick did his best to straighten the 7 out after the start. No way was I intimating that it was his fault right after the start, but the 7 did take out half the field. And you'll notice the horses that she took out did not finish.
Yeah.
One did not finish in the top 3. Only Santa Gata finished 4th.
So Christopher Elliott, Linda Dixon, and this 4-year-old filly by Maximum Security.
Not a lot of them around.
Wonder with the win.
Not a lot of them around.
5-2 to close things out. Asaida, 3rd career win, turning the tables on Moongate. We'll be back. Back with you on our Sunday coverage on America's Day at the Races. Brought to you in part by Gainesway Farm. Power, passion, performance.
SAS, the official airline of Gainesway. That's Swiss Air?
Don't know. My son would know.
Really?
He knows all the airlines.
Really?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Plane nut? Scandinavian airline. Thank you. Somebody help me in the truck. Dan, thank you.
Christopher Elliott, he lands himself in the winner's circle with a forward ride from Asai Rod in the finale.
I thought this was a terrific ride by him, you know? He realized they didn't want to be aggressive with Moongate, and he just took advantage of that situation, and I think probably knowing if somebody looks Moongate in the eye, she ain't winning.
One more look. You see that patch over that left eye? The other two really good performances to kind of show up, well, three of them, was forward before.
It's the saying, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Worked out here. And a nice job by Linda Dixon. Honestly, she doesn't have a lot of horses. This horse really got back to some of her better races from some bad form.
Yeah.
Taking over last time and getting the win here. So congrats to her and Christopher. Both of them did a good job with this horse.
$7.32 for the win to close out New York action on this Sunday card. Modest pick 5. Pick 6 comes back $440. Well done if you had it on yet another form-full card.
Agreed.
Here in New York. We're going to say so long to Andy. I'm going to be joined by Maggie Wolfendale here in a second. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
We got
too.
Stars and Stripes coming up at Oakland next.
All right. Good luck with that, and I'll see you on Thursday.
Sounds good.
See you.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. We'll be back 13 minutes away, race 8. Get you back out to Hot Springs momentarily, and we'll tell you about this new series at the new reimagined Belmont Park with Woodbine, that Empire Trillium series. Stay with us.
Bright future indeed. Bright future, the son of Curlin to win by 4. Bright future, Proxy, here's the line. Photo finish, Bright future.
Bright future, look at that. Bright future, the class prevails.
Bright future, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Oakland Hot Springs is here for when you need to break away. When you want to reward yourself. When you deserve to indulge. When you want to be close to the action. It's all here. So what are you waiting for? Live racing returns with the classic racing season. So plan your stay at Oakland Hot Springs and come join the fun.
And it's lights out. Locked. Pouring it on, running aggressively through the stretch to win by 7 easy lengths.
Here is Locked racing by on the outside for the lead. Locked, the wine steward, it is Locked.
Here comes Locked after Mulligan. Locked catching with every single stride, and Locked will win the Cigar Mile.
It's all about Locked, dominating the big cap, cruising home to an effortless 8-length romp.
right around the corner, the newly reimagined Belmont Park, set to open, soft opening, with limited people. I believe I'm gonna cap it around 65, maybe between 65 to 8,000. I think. I'm not sure exactly.
Well, hey, it's more than Laurel's allowing for the Preakness.
Yeah, that number's very low. Maggie Wolfendale on the desk. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good to be up here. I heard a rumor that Kendrick Carmouche is actually making crawfish in the paddock. So yeah, maybe
we
need
this
to.
on the road.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
Bring our cameraman Sal with us.
Let's go wireless,
let's go.
please, and we will head out there and let you know how it is. We have a good race coming up at Oakland. Stars and Stripes back in action for Belmont. We'll talk more about that in a moment. First, we just saw that ad for the new Belmont, and this is going to take place at the new Belmont. This new series with Naira and Woodbine, the Empire Trillium Series, 14-race program. Races restricted to horses foaled in New York or Canada, worth $3.2 million. It begins at the new Belmont with 8 stakes between December and February at a mile on the Tapeta surface. And then we'll head north to Woodbine with 6 more stakes, 4 on Tapeta, 2 on turf, between April and July. And the marquee event of the series at Belmont, late January, the inaugural running of the Long Island Derby in Oaks.
Yeah, looking forward to that. As just looking forward to getting back to Belmont, obviously. Yeah. I've missed the place. I feel like it's our kind of home track, if you will, at least from my perspective. And, you know, I think a really forward and proactive thinking on behalf of our racing department here. Rob McLennan, who is our racing secretary, partnering with Woodbine. Because, look, with the new installation of the Tapeta surface, reaching out to our neighbors north of the border really just makes sense, because obviously that's the surface they race on. So I think it's a really good partnership that we have with Woodbine.
We're going to see a big Canadian invasion, I would think.
Yes.
Yeah, with that surface here.
Absolutely.
Going to get you back out to Oakland. Right now we're about 7 minutes to post. In race 8 mile and an eighth allowance optional claiming field. And yeah, the story here, Stars and Stripes put together back-to-back efforts, including a big win at Saratoga last summer, but then disappointed in that next start. The comeback January 16th, not as bad. We'll talk more about them in a minute.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
Tracking
honestly.
error, we'll start with blinkers on.
They paid $150,000 for this horse at the Keeneland Fall Sale. It faced a decent field last time out, but he's going to have to find a lot more to be competitive here.
Keith Asmussen riding for Dad on Imperial Gun went by.
Yeah, a horse that caught a sloppy track in the return effort in a race that virtually held together.
Dive Bomber, 12-1.
Could beat a speed in here as he stretches it out in distance. Was flattered by a couple of next time out winners in that race too.
Peter Millerbarn looking for another win today.
Yeah, this horse ran very well, I think, because he was headstrong early and was still able to get the job done in his last.
7-year-old by Keen Ice, Keen Cat.
This horse I don't really get. He was really far back, never picked up the bit last time.
Here's Happy Strike, 7 for 18 lifetime.
Yeah, he's been big prices in his last few, and I think we'll see much the same here again.
Manny Esquivel rider change on Classify.
Yeah, here's another one that's stretching out in distance. Not quite as much speed, but should be forward with getting more ground.
And Stars and Stripes start number 2 of his 4-year-old campaign for Belmont.
Yeah, I thought, ran well behind Solo Venturi last time. His stablemate Batten Down, he kind of ran off. Both of these horses coming back off layoffs, but Batten Down would come back and win the illustrious Pig Trail, going 1.5 miles with the 99 buyer and is next.
Yeah, so flattering his form, no question. Let's take a look at Stars and Stripes in action. Back on that return race at Gulfstream.
Yeah, we're going to see him. At first, Greg, he was sitting comfortably, kind of stalking 3 wide. Then the eventual winner came and passed him from behind on the second turn, which kind of re-engaged him, and ultimately he would just play second fiddle to Solo Venturi, chasing him home. He took a little while to switch leads in that short stretch to the 16th pole there at Gulfstream Park, but I thought a useful return to the races, and I do think he is truly a horse that wants 2 turns, whereas you go 2 back to the Dwyer is around 1 turn, and never really picked up the bit.
Yeah, and look, his biggest performance, I know he got a 93 buyer last start. The third half had a totally different. That Saratoga race was just next level compared to what he's done. That was at 1 mile and an eighth.
Yeah, that was very impressive on that fast racetrack back on July 17th. I remember talking to Bill Mott after that victory, and he really thought that stakes were definitely in this horse's future. Obviously, there's been some hiccups and some bumps in the road, so hopefully he can get past this condition, Greg, and try stakes again.
Well, let's take a look at his competition here. Gunrunner Charlie right now is Really the only one below double-digit odds in this field. Peter Miller, Ramon Vasquez, as mentioned, they teamed up to win one earlier. This was back on February 16th. Most recent effort and was a win.
Does this horse really want to go a mile and an eighth? I think that is the biggest question I personally have for him here. Now, like I said, he was a bit headstrong early on in this race. He was eager all the way to the backside. He kind of went to the two-path to challenge a leader, and he was dogged in victory. I mean, he wanted it, I think, more than anybody. He was flattered when Expect the Best came back to win with an 86 buyer. So Gunrunner Charlie, he projects to be more forward than your favorite, and maybe that's where he could hold an edge over Stars and Stripes.
Stars and Stripes, 3-5 though, as we send it out to Hot Springs.
Yeah, very short price on Stars and Stripes, who has shown a great deal of ability, and he's only one of 2 horses that have won at the mile and a furlong distance. The other being the one, Tracking Error, who was in good form his last race, first time in the Great Compton Barn, left a little bit desired.
Did not do very much running last time out, and it's been kind of a trend, unfortunately, with some of those horses of racing age that Greg Compton has kind of moved over to the barn and not really done as much running. Tracking Error we're familiar with from New York, from the Chad Brown barn, and he absolutely looks fantastic today. He looks more fit and more prepared than when I saw him last time out on December the 28th. And let's see if he can return to that form. I still have my doubts, and I still have my doubts particularly with him on the inside. We shall see. I also kind of find myself maybe thinking 3-5 on Stars and Stripes is too short, but we both discussed it, Mick. He does seem to be just better than these.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to reach a little bit here, but let's talk about the 4, Gunrunner Charlie, who I think we agree is probably the most likely upsetter if there's to be an upset.
I was discussing, with his connections that they've really wanted to get him to this mile and eighth distance. I thought last time maybe even they did as well, that the mile was probably too short as he was able to get it in the end. They had to use him a little bit there, but they're anticipating to be about third around the backstretch, settle him, and hopefully be able to make their run late. And as Maggie had mentioned, the trip issues this horse faced in his last victory, or excuse me, yes, he fit 2 back, had a couple of trip issues, and he's also one that potentially doesn't love to get out of the gate, and he's not the strongest behind, so it makes sense with him. But I'd expect him to be forward, as mentioned. I think he's going to be able to get this distance, and honestly, I kind of want to take a shot against your favorite. I might be mistaken for it, but we're going to try.
Well, I am going to take a little bit of a swing against not a little bit, I'm going to take a big swing, okay? I'm daring to be great. I am going to pick the 7 Classify. This is a horse that's spent predominantly the entirety of his career sprinting. He does have 1 race at Canterbury going a mile where he won off by 5-6 lengths. Now, the mile and an eighth is a little scary to me, but I've always contended that when horses are going a distance that maybe is a little out of their reach, they do it best the first time they're doing it. And I think with Manny Esquivel taking over, Sahin Carmona injured, he's going to put this horse, I think, on the lead on the stretch out, and they're going to have to catch him. So at 20-1, I am going to take a stand with Classify, admitting that Stars and Stripes is going to be very tough to beat.
He is. Here's my issues with Stars and Stripes is he honestly isn't all that physically imposing. Maggie had kind of discussed this horse back in the New York races going back through our shows that he wasn't all that fit 100% when she saw him, but he looks fantastic today. I think that was maybe something I was looking for now that he's second off of the layoff. Got a race under his belt, as mentioned, getting the best of Batten Down. So the class is all there. He's dappled out. He looks resplendent in his coat. I don't have any issues with him physically. He's just not the strongest behind. I'm not quite sure. We shall see. I don't think that he beat an all that great field in his 2 wins, and he did put together a really nice effort off the bench last time out, and as mentioned, he could be very well just better than this group. This is a very a good spot for this horse, as Bill Mott has kind of been filtrating more and more horses in as we gear up for Sovereignty next month.
Well, and Batten Down also came back to win the stake here, going a mile and a mile and a half, excuse me, and he won quite easily. We are going to have to switch over to the Fox app or the Naira YouTube channel in about 30 seconds here. We will be switching over, so I hope you follow us along because this race is going to start in about that time frame. We don't want you to miss that for sure. But we're going to take a quick timeout as we make that move over to the Naira app and YouTube. And welcome back to America's Day at the Races. We are now on YouTube and or the Fox app. And we've got the 8th race, the feature today, coming up. Stars and Stripes is your big favorite at 3 to 5. Which ultimately landed, Megan?
I'm going to try to go against him with the number 4, Gunrunner Charlie, with a 4-8 exacta for me.
Okay, well, I'm going with Classify, and Stars and Stripes will be tough to beat. Good luck, everybody. Here's Matt Dinneman with the call.
Gunrunner Charlie coming up. Classify going in. Stars and Stripes, your big favorite outside post. We're ready to go. And Naira off. Tracking error. Leapt in the air at the start. Dive Bomber up on the lead. Gunrunner Charlie is close. Stars and Stripes on the far outside, claiming 3rd. Classify right behind him. Imperial Gun settles on the rail. He's 5th ahead of Keen Cat and Happy Strike. Tracking Air at the back of the pack as the 8 runners hit the first turn run. Dive Bomber at a price leads the way by about 2. Gunrunner Charlie concedes the lead. He's 2nd. Stars and Stripes perched 3 wide. Imperial Gun joins him. Classify between that pair. One restraint early. He's 4 off the lead. 2 back to Keen Cat. Another 4 to Happy Strike. And 2 more to Tracking Air, who is still 8th and last. Onto the backstretch they go. Dive Bomber clear by 3 parts of a length. Gunrunner Charlie a little bit closer in 2nd. A gap of 2. Stars and Stripes shown more rain in 3rd with 5 furlongs to go. Imperial Gun stays on the rail and Classifies still between horses. Keen Cat 6 from the lead. 4 back to Happy Strike. Tracking Error off the rail, joining the back marker Happy Strike as they make their way towards the far turn. Dive Bomber 11-1 still controlling things here. A length in front. Gunrunner Charlie 2nd. Stars and Stripes being asked to get going now. He's 2.5 lengths behind, under a ride, trying to get closer. Then comes Classify. Imperial Guns come under a hard ride too. Far outside is Keen Cat. He's within 4 lengths of the lead. Dive Bomber loses the lead to Gunrunner Charlie. Stars and Stripes continues to run on here. He's on the outside of Gunrunner Charlie, and these two are going at it as they come off the turn. Stars and Stripes on the grandstand side. Gunrunner Charlie from the inside. These two in a duel with a furlong to go. Outside Stars and Stripes. Gunrunner Charlie trying to stick around, but Stars and Stripes sprinting in the final 16th. He's got the lead. Stars and Stripes half length in front. Stars and Stripes to win. Gunrunner Charlie 2nd. Classify 3rd. Photo for 4th. Tracking Error and Keen Cat.
Wow, in a thrilling stretch duel, it was Stars and Stripes getting the measure of Gunrunner Charlie, but it took him the entirety of the stretch to get by. And in Megan, Luis Saez earned his money. Stars and Stripes, he looked like the classic bicycle horse. He was riding him from about the 3/4 pole out and basically insisted on his best because Stars and Stripes was kind of running with the emergency brake on.
He was under a ride, honestly, each step of the way. Around the turn, I thought, he's done. But Louis kept after him. He was able to kind of use his stamina, and Gunrunner Charlie ran a great race. He didn't have a ton of excuses. He got a pretty well-meant tracking type trip just off of the pace that fell kind of apart there in Dive Bomber. But it's definitely not the way an overwhelming favorite, well, I say so, 4 to 5. It's not the way I was expecting him to blow out this field whatsoever, and I think we learned some things about him today.
No, he had to work for it. Gunrunner Charlie was very game, but it was the 8 Stars and Stripes, your favorite, getting it done over Gunrunner Charlie, and Classified checked in 3rd at 15-1.
First win of his 4-year-old campaign, Stars and Stripes, so he gets it done, yes, at 4 to 5. What did you think?
It was a very workmanlike performance, and it kind of makes me wonder, maybe he should have been also running in the pig trail with Batten down, because he looks like a horse that he has a decent amount of tractability in his races. You know, he's not completely outfooted, so he can be forward, but boy, is he a grinding type that just keeps doggedly going on. So I thought that number 4 in here, Gunrunner Charlie, ran a very good race in defeat, kind of a little bit headstrong again, and was still was in for the fight down the lane. So probably just beaten by a better horse on the day, but a respectable effort.
Gets it done. Had to, yes, certainly work for this win now. Not 3 for 6 lifetime Stars and Stripes. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we will look back to the upset of the meet so far. Champion 3-year-old filly Nitrogen defeated by Majestic Oops in a rematch of when they met in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. We'll look back when we come back. Stay with us. Back on our Sunday coverage on YouTube.
Hey, that's where I watch it.
And the Naira Bets app. And you're going to be heading back there soon, aren't you?
I am, for Arkansas Derby, which, of course, is coming up at the end of this month. And then we also have the Apple Blossom, which, nice segue for the horse we're going to talk about next, and PS Sovereignty for the Oakland Handicap.
Yeah, indeed. That's April 14th.
Yeah.
Hope we see a rematch with Nitrogen back in action, taking another crack at Majestic Oops. Huge upset, which we'll get to in a minute. Stars and Stripes, though, taking this feature, Luis Saez for Belmont, and now 3 for 6 lifetime for this 4-year-old. Let's go to Megan.
Here with a winning jockey, Luis Saez, on what will be his final day riding here at Oakland before he transitions to Gulfstream and, of course, Keeneland. But, Luis, this was not exactly the most straightforward kind of horse. You really rode him and earned it there in this win with Stars and Stripes.
Yeah, well, the Gunrunner Charlie is a pretty nice horse. I rode it 2 times before. And he's a horse that he liked to gain, so I had to, make a little move in the half a mile because he was tough to beat. But this horse was much the best, so in the top of the lane, I know we're going to beat him.
You He was much the best, but I will say this is your first time riding him. What did you glean from him, as he's clearly been a talented individual from the start?
Oh yeah, he's a pretty nice horse. He do everything right. He behaved pretty well on the gate. He's very fast too. If you send him, he take the lead and get going. But the plan with him was try to follow the speed, and he finished pretty well.
We'll miss you here at Oakland. What a wonderful winter as you head down to Gulfstream in Kentucky. Best of luck there, but really great to have you here this winter.
Yeah, me too. I'm pretty grateful and so glad that I was here. Everybody's so nice here. The people treat me so well. I'm gonna miss it a lot, but I probably am gonna come back for the Arkansas Derby.
Can't wait.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Luis Saez aboard Stars and Stripes, getting the victory, second off the layoff here for trainer Bill Mott.
Workmanlike, but gets it done at odds on. Getting by a gun runner. Charlie for that win, $3.60 for the victory for Stars and Stripes, and we'll see if ultimately they decide to tackle a little tougher company with this horse.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, they've held him in high regard from the beginning and maybe just lost his way, some stops and starts on his career, but looks like he's back in the winner's circle and onwards and upwards.
Close out the card on the Sunday afternoon with this Arkansas-bred $20,000 maiden claiming sprint, 6 furlongs. Karum's Croupier, 0 for 9 right now. Beat at this level last start. Well, that was open maiden 20, I should say. 2-1 favorite right now.
Yeah, I think it belongs as the favorite in here, Greg. I know has had his chances, but has her chances, but I think comes out of a better race.
All right, we're going to look at this field coming up momentarily. 22 minutes to post to close it out. Yesterday, of course, Grade 2 Azeri. We thought it was just a walkthrough for Nitrogen, the reigning champion 3-year-old filly. Not the case.
No. Maybe she needed to start. Maybe you can't even use the track as the excuse, right? Because she had that wonderful performance up in Saratoga.
It's kind of the
over a
reason
wet
they
track.
went dirt with her, right?
Exactly. Maybe she moved too early. I don't know. I'm making excuses at the moment. At the end of the day, Majestic Oops was just best here. And she seems like a 6-year-old that is really finding her strides. Yes, does she, I don't want to say she moves up on a wet track, but she certainly doesn't mind it. And she just was better yesterday. And it was kind of disappointing that Nitrogen really kind of threw in the towel here in the last 1/8 of a mile to be beaten for second.
Yeah, Regaled gets by her. So Majestic Oops, huge moment for her. Good for Dan Ward, too. Brought her back with that prep sprint stakes win and then the stretch out. And love to see, too, just not ducking a champion.
No, exactly. I think, I remember talking with him at Monmouth last year, and he was so excited to run her, going back to that Lady's Secret. He was like, I have a certainty today. He's very confident in her on that particular occasion, and she did well throughout the summer, earned her break, and it seems like she's come back better than ever with 2 wins so far this year.
Let's check in with the crew who was there, and I'm sure all of Hot Springs still talking about that upset from yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Nitrogen, I think ran so big off the bench, Megan, in the Bayakoa, and when she was admittedly not 100% fit, and I feel like maybe that had more to do with yesterday's effort than anything else. Now, that being said, we should not sell short Majestic Oops or Regaling, who closed extremely well. They're both very capable mares.
They are, but when you're inspecting when a champion doesn't run their A race, you want to come up with maybe a couple reasons why they didn't run all to their expected measure. Nitrogen, maybe you say the track, yes, she does have that win in the Wonder again in an off surface, but that was a 3-horse race where those other horses didn't even want to run on the dirt, where she kind of got the better of a lacking group. So this time she had to face horses that have proven strong form on this offgoing. At the end of the day, she has always had her quirks on dirt and in the stretch run, and I kind of said it yesterday, maybe that just got the better of her.
Well, and also, I think, Greg, you're 100% right, and I echo your sentiments. Good to see Dan Ward get this graded stakes win with the filly who has, had stakes wins but ungraded up to this point. And he's done a tremendous job with her, and at 6 years old, I think you're seeing the best of Majestic Oops now.
She's had quite a career. 6-year-old mare. At one point, she was in for 12,000 claiming company.
I know, and she's Calbred as well. So it just goes to show how you can be rewarded for racing your horses, keeping them in the racetrack. So obviously she doesn't have that much residual value as a broodmare, so that's kept her on the racetrack. But it's good to see the patience and the perseverance pay off.
And we'll see if we get the rematch coming up in the Apple Blossom. Yeah, would not write off Nitrogen just yet.
No, I wouldn't either. I think that's fair. You know, maybe the track just wasn't to her liking, per se.
Still got this finale coming up, the 6 furlong sprint for Arkansas Bred Company to close things out. And here's what's ahead at the meet. We reached, what, last Thursday, I believe, this past Thursday, the halfway point. So still to come, the big ones, Fantasy, Final Oaks Prep, Arkansas Derby, Final Derby Prep with Renegade, the Sam F. Davis winner, set to invade.
Great.
Apple Blossom, and then Horse of the Year, Sovereignty, making his 2026 debut, Oakland Handicap.
And it feels like Bill Mott has shipped some horses with purpose to Oakland, as he's now run 4 there, 1 with 3, and a runner-up. So excited to see Sovereignty possibly at Oakland.
We're going to take a time out. We'll talk more Triple Crown Trail when we come back. Here he goes again. Not the one many expected in the San Felipe. What's the potential for Potente? Take a look at that San Felipe win when we come back.
A surging debut at 2. An international tour de force. An explosive winner of 2 sire-making Grade 1 races.
Raging Torrent running the race of his life. And Raging Torrent and Frankie Dettori cruise to victory in the Malibu. Raging Torrent's coming out party is in the Metropolitan Handicap.
Raging Torrent, the next wave in the Lane's End stallion-making tradition.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, boost your bankroll with weekly promotions, and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Gunrunner is the sire of 16 millionaires and 12 Grade 1 winners. Last year, he sired $17 million yearlings, including the Keeneland September sale topper. He was the sire of the $2.2 million Keeneland November weanling sale topper as well. Gunrunner was the co-leading sire of 2-year-old Grade 1 winners, including Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner, Super Corridoro. Gunrunner, breed true.
A provision in a bill passed this summer reduces the tax deduction for wagering losses from 100% to 90%. This unfair change would tax horse players on a percentage of their losses, could cost over $1 billion in handle, and threaten thousands of jobs in the racing industry. That's why the NTRA is fighting to pass the Wager Act, a new bill that would restore the deduction to 100%. Tell Congress to pass the Wager Act. Visit ntra.com/wager.
Back with you on America's Day at the Races and back with our FS2 audience. Good to have you on Fox Sports 2 on this Sunday afternoon. We still have the nightcap to come from Hot Springs Track Good if you're just tuning in. 15 minutes away from the finale. Greg Wolf, Maggie Wolfendale. We'll get out to our crew in Hot Springs with Richie Migliori, Megan Burgess momentarily. We've been talking about the Triple Crown Trail and out west yesterday. Bob Baffert back at it. We'll get to Potente in a moment. Could he show up here in the third and final leg of the Triple Crown? Belmont Stakes Racing Festival, likely your last chance to be part of history, last chance for a Belmont Stakes Triple Crown event to be held at historic Saratoga.
It's truly been the most amazing day/week in Saratoga that I have ever experienced. I did 16 Travers, and not taking anything away from the Travers, but I have never felt energy like I have on those Belmont Stakes days at the spa.
It has been incredible. We're going to get 51 days of Saratoga this summer, but get your tickets now for that Belmont week, June 3rd through 7th, I believe. and be part of the action. Final chance to see a Triple Crown event at Saratoga. It really has been something else the first 2 years we've had it.
It really has, and obviously with Sovereignty last year made it that much more special. What an amazing horse, you know, for him to then go and win the Travers as well. So really, this is your final chance, and I would take full advantage of it.
We will be there. We hope to see you there as well. Let's talk West Coast. Bob Baffert back in the mix with yet another horse. He had Brant. That horse faded, wound up 5th here off the board. Potente, though, in just his second start, off a 6-furlong sprint win in the debut, steps up and steals this race in the final strides.
Yeah, exactly. A horse that, you know, had shown obviously ability when he debuted going the 6 furlongs. He's got a kind of a funny pedigree for what he's doing here, meaning that he's by Into Mischief out of a Damn Sweet Sting, who his second dam is Perfect Sting, who's a multiple, you know, Grade 1 winning turf horse. And there's a lot of turf in the family, but we often see this, I feel like, with Bob Baffert. You know, he's amazing at developing dirt horses. So yes, he's a kind of a newcomer. He's new on the scene. We'll see how he progresses. It does feel like this is maybe a weaker, you know, set of horses that we see out in California this year round. But I feel like, as I was saying to you in the break, I always say that, and yet they always show up in the Triple Crown races.
Look, it was, and probably shouldn't have been that price, but the horse he got by for that win, 67-1, Doug O'Neill horse, but that they're going to the Santa Anita Derby next with him.
Yeah.
But why can't this horse continue to improve? That's just his second career start, first time going 2 turns.
Absolutely.
So we'll see. 10th win in the San Felipe for Bob Baffert as we take a look at the 50-point Derby Prep winners. Who on that list to you right now is the standout?
A standout, Commandment is probably the fastest horse, but Greg, was quite impressed with the effort from the Puma. Now, when I checked the buyers at 6 o'clock this morning, it said 95. They have since lowered it to an 89.
Yeah.
But the way he did it, we saw the second and third place finishers, Further Ado, and I can never get his name out. Thank you, Canaletto. They were virtually, 1-2 up forwardly placed throughout the running of the race. The Puma was out the back 4 wide the entire way around there, and you can make the argument, now the track obviously changed with the rain that they experienced, but a lot of the successful runners on the dirt were forwardly placed. I was really impressed with just the way this horse did it. Now, he's lightly raced. There's obviously still room for improvement with him, but we're seeing the same connections that won the Kentucky Derby 2 years ago with Mage.
Yeah, pretty incredible. Yeah, Randy Guy, who's owner in here, he was a partner in Mage as well.
Yeah.
His debut, he got beat by, not by much, too, by Chief Wallaby, who was just second in the Fountain of Youth last week. And the upside is still there, it seems like, with the Puma. As we go to Megan, what'd you two think?
Well, listen, I think it's really kind of starting to take shape. Obviously, we have the most important round of Triple Crown prep races to come. But for me, I go to the Fountain of Youth and Commandment. I like everything about the way this horse did it. And the big thing to me, Megan, was when he pops his head in front, he comes through inside, I think he just starts pulling himself up. His ears start going forward. He starts drifting out a little bit, almost like he caught sight of something coming to the wire. And then he kind of reasserted himself after the wire and galloped out well. I think this was a case where the margin of victory didn't tell the whole story, and I think he was capable of finding more. I think a horse that could take a step forward, certainly from the mental standpoint, maybe just a touch green still in the Fountain of Youth.
That's what the barn has kind of thought about him, that he's had an immense amount of talent. Even talking with some of the Oakland crew here for Brad Cox, this has always been one of their 2-year-olds, now a 3-year-old, that they have thought would be their Derby kind of horse.
Well, from South Florida down here to Arkansas, we've had some pretty nice preps here coming. First with the Smarty Jones, the Southwest, and then obviously the Rebel. And I like the fact that Silent Tactic has run in all 3 and run well in all 3, but Class President, a horse that you talked about all week leading up to the Rebel, really was game.
I really liked the profile of this horse on paper, particularly getting to the distance that his team always wanted to. There was not the right race that did not fill for him to go 2 turns prior to the Rebel, so it was perfect for him. Me and Maggie were both on site, and we both kind of had a similar impression. We just didn't feel like he was 100% filled out. He didn't have all that much substance to him. He just wasn't 100%. And for him to still be so game and get around a horse like Silent Tactic and show us that maturity mentally, even if maybe we can see him continue to take those steps forward physically, makes me really excited, because we don't want these horses to be their 100% A prime in March. We want them to do so in May. So I thought he showed us a lot of really strong attributes for a young horse going 2 turns for the very first time. I think he's got some upside to even get better and better, as his stablemate Renegade looks to also embark on a start in Arkansas here in the Derby in a couple of weeks.
Well, guys, you got to appreciate, too, the band back together. Todd Pletcher, Johnny Velasquez with class president. Such an integral part of each other's Hall of Fame careers.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see them make some more noise together. You look, though, at these horses, and obviously Commandment, everyone gets excited about that 101 buyer that he ran in. Why not? I guess you have to, but took a big step up in that 4th career start. Why can't several of these others take that big move, too?
It feels like the theme of this year, right? That there's several horses that are just lightly raced. They didn't necessarily get their careers going as 2-year-olds, and there's a lot of upside. I even think a horse like Further Ado, who obviously showed us what he could do as a 2-year-old. I thought that was a very useful prep coming back in that Tampa Bay Derby. So with his first start under his belt of this year, why can't he move forward as well? So yes, I agree. You look at Commandment and you wonder, is the mental fortitude there? Because he was a little weaving around the racetrack. If anything, I kind of want Chief Wallaby, because he was definitely flattered by the Puma coming back and winning, and he ran very well, I thought, in that Fountain of Youth.
A lot left to learn before we get to this first Saturday in May with those 100-point races coming up. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. Finale from Hot Springs on the way. 7-5 favorite now. This 2, Karum's Croupier. Well, the post parade for you when we come back on our Fox Sports 2 coverage. Back with you on our Sunday coverage. One race remaining, which we will get to shortly out in Hot Springs. 4 minutes to post in the finale. It is International Women's Day. So everyone, glad to have you as part of the show and all you do on the show. But we've talked about some of the big names in this sport who have really made a lot of noise.
Yeah.
And we've talked about them quite a bit, obviously. We'll start with
the one and
the
only.
Queen.
The Queen
In New York.
of New York.
Linda Wright, 172 wins last year.
Perennially for years. The leading, if not one of the leading trainers here on this circuit. I mean, she is
Look at her pace this year.
She's just like a lean, mean fighting machine. Like, she is
relentless.
And just always has her head in the game. She is, I mean, I worked for her, galloping horses way back when, and just meticulous and so well organized. And I mean, forget she's a woman. She's just a hell of a trainer. I mean, her organizational skills, her claiming skills, her shrewdness about playing the claiming game is second to none.
Changed the entire sport.
Correct.
And they changed the rules because of her, because how good she is at the claiming game. Brittany Russell, we've gotten to know a lot more in the last couple of years on this circuit. 2023 first female trainer to lead the year-end training standards in Maryland, and then did it again in 2024.
Yeah, another amazing, mother as well. She juggles a lot. So my hat is tip of the hat to Brittany, a great woman as well, and just a really good horsewoman too. So she's, the trajectory of Brittany has been otherworldly. Like, she just started training and just ran off.
Team post time. It was a favorite of a lot of people.
Such a cool horse.
And then rising star who has been good just from the outset after spending time as assistant under Todd Pletcher, and he really had to kind of restructure things to keep her around a little bit longer, and we see why now.
She was the main exercise rider for the very difficult but ultimately so talented Life is Good. She went out on her own. I just saw a post from her today that her first horse, her first winner, her first stakes winner on Command, retiring to be a mom. So I'm sure bittersweet watching her leave the barn, but just really cool for Amelia, who's just, again, another female trainer that has, just with her male peers, holds her own and then some.
Yeah, plenty of current and rising female stars to really pay tribute to as we send it out to Hot Springs here on this International Women's Day.
Yeah, I mean, it's been very remarkable, the mark that women have made in our sport. And obviously, from the rider's standpoint, there's so many terrifically talented female riders over the years. And, recently the passing of Diane Crump, and so many women that knocked down that door, the barriers that set it up for somebody like Julie Crone, who took it to the next level, who showed the world that women can compete straight up with the men out there on the racetrack. Emma Jane Wilson still doing it, one of the best riders up in Canada. So it's really phenomenal to see over the years the way the impact women have made. And to be honest, Megan, it's not that long ago, going back to the early 80s, where women were not allowed on the backstretch after dark. So for them to make the strides they've made to get to the levels they had when they weren't even afforded the same rights as the men back then. I remember my brother took me out to dinner, and he dropped me off at the track with his girlfriend at the time, who's now his wife for over 40 years. And she had to stay at gate 6 while he took me to the barn. They wouldn't allow her in the backstretch. And to think about just the amount of, distance traveled since then to now, it's remarkable.
And just thinking about Cherie DeVoe, there's just so many, and Rosina Pravnik, just some incredible women in racing. But I have to tip my hat to the incredible women that I work with every single day, sitting right across from me in New York. Maggie Wolfendale and Acacia Clement, Sarah Baldwin. We work with a powerhouse team of women. Veronica Venturi, Molly, everybody a part of our team, and the women that we work with are not only hard workers, but the sharpest, smartest women and people that I have met. So I am honored to be able to work in this business. I was raised by an incredible woman who worked in this business, and kudos to all the women out there. And it's one of those things where you look back at the history of this game, as you mentioned, and maybe it was a little bit of a boys' club, but Seems like the ladies are paving their own path.
Well, and going back to Chelsea Canty, who I think was just outstanding on TV back in the 70s into the 80s, somebody that I looked up to and admired, and galloped some pretty good horses in her day, too, including Ruffian. So, people like that. And I'd be remiss, my wife Carmela was an assistant trainer at the racetrack when there weren't very many female assistants at that time. And thankfully for me, she chose to come into Steve DeMoro's barn. That's how I got to meet her. Well, let's get to racing here.
40 years of marriage, by the way, guys.
Absolutely. Well, I'm blessed, the right one. Who did you wind up here? I think you like the outside runner, 13, Tallahassee.
I'm going to take another shot with her. She is going back and regressing in tag yet again. And last time out, on paper, she doesn't look like the most formful, but she was checked early. She did not have a comfortable trip. And the key with her, I thought, was getting the Lasix. Well, she did so for the first time in her last start, where she had a gluttony of trip issues. So I'm hoping she does a break from the outside, so it gets away from the inside rail where she had those issues last time out. She's always been a really pretty filly by Connect that I've loved physically. I'm hoping she can take a step forward.
Well, at least the outside post kind of ensures that she's not going to get bounced around or pinched between horses at the start, which has been kind of a problem. She doesn't break really sharp. Field comes together quick, and then she's getting checked and shuffled out of it.
Right, but I know you thought about the 10 Moneta, who honestly, according to the tote board, it all ranks with how I saw them physically. Those are the best lookers, and they're the ones that are taking the most money.
Listen, she's getting down to the $20,000 level. It's been kind of a steady slide now in her fourth start from the 40 level. She has natural speed, so I expect her to get a decent trip and be forward. These races, as you know, chaos can reign supreme.
They can, and especially when you see these horses kind of gradually take those steps down as they're trying to figure out where they fit best, but looked fantastic, has speed on the drop and tag and gets Ramon Vasquez. I think speed will be key here. As there's not an immense amount, I think the 2 Karooms Croupier is going to also go there more towards the inside, who I think looks fantastic. To me, looked best of this group.
Yeah, interesting, too. She's your favorite at 3-2, and she's the horse with the most experience. She's making her 10th start, where there's some others that are more lightly raced that maybe potentially they can take a step forward, but they probably have to.
Have to get her, right? If she can back that last race up, Wowzers did not come back to run all that great, and it was kind of a hard-fought victory. But you get Luis Saez and his final race here at Oakland before he heads down south.
Yeah, he told you earlier he'll be back for the Arkansas Derby, but he's got business wherever he goes. This was a little bit more of an experiment, but he's in demand in South Florida, and his agent, Kieran McLaughlin's going to get him on live horses.
Well, he's loved it here. It's been a pleasure to be able to have him here. He's such a classy individual, and this filly at the number 2 also has that rateability. So I'm not as worried about her if somebody else really gets aggressive and goes. The 10 you like, Moneta, has speed, and I'm hoping we saw Tallahassee show a bit of speed on debut before fading. Maybe she'll be forwardly placed from the outside as well.
Well, and again, particularly not being encumbered with horses all around her, so she shouldn't have trouble at the break. And she's taking money, so people are thinking a lot along the lines of you. She's 4-1, and off her last 2 races, you would have thought, despite the trouble, she might have been a higher price.
Right. She gets Rafael Bejarano aboard her for the first time, who's kind of that seasoned veteran, and Ron Moquette teaming up together, who's a very well-known name around Odd Springs. But the 3 horses that we find are kind of the standouts. The 2, the 10, and the 13 are taking the money. We'll see if any chaos ensues beyond that point.
And a horse that I will mention as they're loading into the starting gate before we send it up to Matt Dinnerman, caught my eye in the warm-up and has taken a step forward in every race is the 4, Roots Tootin'. She's 27-1, started her career with a minus buyer, 15, 25, 30. Maybe she's got another 5 or 10-point buyer figure move in her, and then 27-1 is a big price then. Well, we're gonna find out. Matt Dinnerman, he's going to have your call of the finale here from Oakland.
Moneta coming in. A Vision of Hope just went right in. Pirulita coming up to the gate. And to the outside, Tallahassee to round out the field. Here's Tallahassee, Rafael Bejarano. Live racing resumes on Thursday. We'll see you then. For now, enjoy this nightcap. We're ready to go. And Laroff, A Vision of Hope, was away a little bit slowly. From towards the inside, Karooms Croupier is on the lead here. Moneta striding level. Tallahassee on the far outside, pretty close. Down the back stretch they go here. Roots Tootin making up some ground to be level 4th. Praise Paulina down on the inside of horses here. And also deeper is Doris J. Gap of 3 to Pirulita off the pace today. Back 9 is next with a Vision of Hope. And Sweet Baby D is at the back of the pack as they go into the far turn. Karooms Croupier clear now by a length and a half. Moneta sent upon hard from second. Tallahassee trying to get closer, 3 wide. Roots Tootin down on the fence, saving ground as they round the far turn. She has 3 lengths to make up. Another 2 lengths back to Doris J. She's pumped upon. Pirulita has 7 lengths to find. While under a ride, they are off the turn. Karooms Croupier looking strong. Karooms Croupier down the lane, puts 4 lengths on the competition. Roots Tootin comes out of the crowd to take the second spot. Karooms Croupier, 1 furlong to go. Clear from Roots Tootin, a Vision of Hope into third. Coming to the 16th pole, though, it's Karooms Croupier to give Luis Saez the late double. Karooms Croupier at even money obliges and scores by 5. Roots Tootin second in a photo with a Vision of Hope. It got tight there. And 4th was back 9 in the finale.
Well, it was your favorite, Karooms Croupier, who gets it done. Just a little too good for this group. Showed her customary speed.
Showed speed, and it was a contested pace with our 3 kind of favorites and top choices that we liked there on the front end. But nice call on the 4, Roots Tootin, who got a little bit better, more incrementally, and then faced a foe that was ultimately just better than her today. But she ran well.
Well, that's the way maybe you make a little bit of money underneath the even money shot there. But guys, the end of a week here. I'm catching a flight home in the morning, so I'll be in New York tomorrow by the afternoon. Looking forward to a few good days at home. And as always, Megan, great working with you. And obviously, you guys, Maggie, Greg, always a pleasure working with you, albeit we're about 1,400 miles apart.
I just want to know, is he going to come?
We feel very close to you.
Meg, are you going to come visit us here at the Big A?
No.
He's straight up north. He's ready to get in the car. But tell Gabby I said hello when she comes and gets you.
Real quick, though, Meg, before we sign off and end the show, just admit you had no idea who Laura Branigan was.
I don't know.
No, come on. I knew that. I almost said to you, well, I thought she'd be out of Gloria, but I didn't say it, and I should have. I would have sounded prophetic.
I didn't know either. I did not have one clue. But we better, which is what counts.
Good job, you two. Best yet to come from this meet. Megan kind of touched on it. All the big grade ones still in front of us with the halfway point of the meet happening this past Thursday.
Yeah, wow. I can't believe it's a halfway point already, but you're right. With the Arkansas Derby, with the Fantasy, and the Apple Blossom, and of course, I think, sometimes it feels like the Apple Blossom is the main headline.
Yeah.
This year, it's the Oakland Handicap.
Yeah, Sovereignty taking care of that with a reigning horse of the year. That's going to be his 2026 starting point. Karooms Croupier, 10th time out, gets that maiden win.
Now 650. I'm paying 650. I'm paying 650,000. Not anybody else. 650,000. Not a minute. $1,650,000. $1,600,000. Thank you.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
A warrior from the start.
Dornock is coming back! Dornock in the Remsen!
What separates the best isn't just talent, it's meeting the moment. Look your rival in the eye and say, not today.
It will be Dornock to win the Belmont Stakes.
And Dornock stubborn! Dornock wins the Haskell!
A world-class athlete made for the fight. That's Dornick.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you.
Back with you, final segment on our Sunday coverage as we've wrapped up action in Hot Springs. Program brought to you in part by Hillendale at Alapa. Gorgeous site. There are some big moments to come as we showed you before the break, including the return of Sovereignty, the reigning horse of the year, back in action April 18th in the Oakland Handicap. Karum's Croupier closing out the Sunday card with a win, and Luis Saez goes back-to-back to end things.
Yeah, closing out the late double. Nice parting gift for him, as this is his final day of full-time riding at Oakland Park. He's shipping southeast to Gulfstream Park to ride the remainder of that championship meet, and then going to Keeneland. But playing this Phillies strengths, putting her on the lead, and she was just better. She had faced better company prior to this, had only been in against Arkansas breds one other time before, and that was the maiden special weight. She found the Arkansas 20 to her liking.
Yes, indeed. Lowest level she'd been at yet, and it pays dividends. $4.20 for the win. Pick 5, $965 and change, and the pick 6, just over $3,000. A big name we saw on today's card, Stars and Stripes, who we had big expectations for back as a 3-year-old, especially after that Saratoga performance. What do you think about what we saw from him today?
Like I said after, my initial reaction was workmanlike, and that's what I still feel, but almost like a horse that does truly want a bit more ground. Like, that was a 1 1/8, and he was just getting there. But yet he's tactical enough, feels like a horse that'll just keep grinding. So maybe Bill plays to those, long-distance dirt races.
And I know it was yesterday we saw Skolko's Folly. I'm really excited about this New York bred horse.
Yeah. He was very impressive. And Rick, it was very funny. He's a bit of a playboy, but he gets to remain a colt if he keeps running like that.
Stretched out, too, to win at a mile to take that gander. We are back Thursday, 3 Eastern, FS2. We will see you then. Toxic Gray. Impressive. One of 3 wins on the card for Kendra Carmouche. Taking the 6th. Stars and Stripes, as we just touched on, workmanlike performance to get his first win of his 4-year-old campaign. And a big upset, the upset of the meet so far. Majestic Oops beating reigning champion Nitrogen in the Azeri. We'll see you next week.